Douluo Dalu. Life or Death Pact. It begins with a forced kiss to Qian Renxue. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue both broke through to the Soul-Sent realm. The Seven Treasures Glazed sect was also a little confused, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. In despair and grief, Nine Fengzi was excited and puzzled. He looked at Chu Ye and asked, "Why? Your spirit hall has already mastered the overall situation. If you want, you can wipe us all out without any effort. Why do you want to spare our lives?" "Because of Qian Renxue," Chu Ye said very calmly. "So that's it." Nine Fengzi smiled bitterly in his heart. He understood, and he never expected that because of Qian Renxue's guidance back then, their Seven Treasures Glazed sect had a chance to survive at this critical moment of life and death. From now on, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect will withdraw from the Soul Master world, like the Ocean sect, close the sect, and retire. Within 30 years, it is not allowed to reappear on the mainland. The Spirit Hall can spare your life. Whether it is life or death, said Master Nine, please make a decision. Chu Ye's voice echoed in this bloody night. He and Qian Renxue only gave the Seven Treasures Glazed sect this last chance. If they didn't obey, they would have to destroy the sect and kill everyone. Nine Fengzi also understood the current situation. If she didn't agree, her daughter Nine Qian Renxue, many wives, sons, and many children of different races would die. Nine Fengzi was grief-stricken, his face was gloomy. He slowly raised his hand and said, "Stop it. We, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, will definitely let go of our hatred and completely cut off our relationship with the Empire. I hope that the Spirit Hall and His Royal Highness the Holy Sun will not embarrass our Seven Treasures Glazed sect anymore." Nine Fengzi finally made a decision, feeling heavy in his heart. Revenge. What can their Seven Treasures Glazed sect use for revenge? There were more than 5,000 people in the sect, but less than 2,000 people were left. 1/3 of them were family members with weak strength, and another 1/3 were children of the inner clan who were all assistants. Only 1/3 were combat-type spirit masters. After today's battle, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect will be completely removed from the list of the 7 major sects. In addition, after retreating and experiencing defeat, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect will only become more and more decadent. If there is no Sword Douluo in charge, they will even quickly become a small sect. Even more, they will be quickly swallowed up by other sects. In the future, whether they can continue to maintain the sect and survive is a problem. What power can compete with the Spirit Hall? As long as you remember what you said now, the Spirit Hall will no longer embarrass you. Chu Ye waved his hand, and all the personnel withdrew their power. He glanced at the embarrassed Sword Douluo in the distance, sighed in his heart, and silently withdrew his gaze. Dawn came, and the sun rose slowly. In the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, all the existing financial resources and soul bonds were looted. It is known as the richest sect in the current continent, and the financial resources it controls are very terrifying. Although they have been looted, the so-called lean camel is bigger than a horse. The industry outside the Seven Treasures Glazed sect can barely support the current manpower. At this point, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect announced to the public that it would be exterminated, and had been removed from the 7 major sects. It had completely retired and disappeared from the Soul Master world. Within 30 years, it would no longer be active in the Soul Master world. In this battle, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect had 10,000 people sent by the Spirit Hall, and the total number of deaths and injuries was just over 1,000. With such a low loss, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect was defeated, which was equivalent to no injuries. On the other side, 8,000 people attacked the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. The entire Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family was wiped out, with the loss of 1,500 Soul Masters, 1,000 injured, and the 9th Elder was not dead. With the end of this battle, the 3 upper sects, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, the Ocean sect, and the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, 2 retired, 1 sect was destroyed, and the lower 4 sects surrendered to the Spirit Hall. The Soul Master world, the 7 major sects, have reached the stage where they can be re-elected, and the Spirit Hall's initial plan has been achieved. Therefore, the Spirit Hall will soon hold a meeting to re-elect the 7 major sects and completely control the Soul Master world. It won't be long before many principalities and kingdoms will be controlled by the Spirit Hall one after another, and the Spirit Empire will be established with the territories of these kingdoms and principalities. The Spirit Empire straddles the 2 empires. the Spirit Hall will unify the continent, and the national war that is about to unfold is imminent. As for Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, they had already led the team back to the Spirit Hall. Half of the hundreds and thousands of years of soul bones collected from the 7 treasures glazed sect were absorbed by Chu Ye's phoenix trunk bone. Now, the age of the phoenix trunk bone has exceeded 200,000 years. At this moment, Chu Ye was sitting alone in the private training room of the Pope's palace, opening the task panel in front of him. Task 7. Soul power reaches level 70, and the reward is that the age of all soul rings will be increased by 50,000 years. When my soul power reaches level 70 and I absorb the 7th soul ring, I will have a martial soul body. By then, my strength will have a qualitative leap. In addition, the reward for task 7 can also increase the age of all my soul rings by 50,000 years. At the time, the 4th soul ring of my dark demon evil god tiger can also reach the level of 100,000 years. Chu Ye slowly took back the task list, feeling happy. Next, the Spirit Hall will re-elect the 7 major sects within a year to establish the Spirit Empire. It will also take some time to reorganize the troops and train the army. It is estimated that there will be a war within 3 years. Although these 3 years are not enough for Chu Ye's power to stand at the peak, it is enough for him to have the strength of a titled Douluo above level 95. In the next period of time, he will focus on improving his strength with Qian Renxue, focusing on cultivation. He does not need to participate in the affairs of the Spirit Hall for the time being. Chu Ye. Boom boom boom. The door of the training room opened and Qian Renxue walked in. Let's get started. Okay. Unknowingly, 4 months later. In the training room, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue sat cross-legged, back to back, with a large amount of soul power fluctuations swirling around their bodies. A few minutes later, the terrifying energy exploded from the 2 of them, and those swirling soul power fluctuations instantly surged into their bodies. Boom. The bottleneck stuck between the 2 of them was instantly broken at this moment. The 2 of them reached the Soul Scent realm at the same time. Breakthrough level 70. It is detected that your soul power has reached level 70, and the conditions of task 7 have been met. The reward is that the age of all soul rings will be increased by 50,000 years. Do you want to grant it now? Chu Ye temporarily chose no. He planned to wait until the 7th soul ring was absorbed before granting the reward of task 7. Chu Ye, we finally broke through level 70. Yes. It's not easy. The 2 smiled at each other, supported each other and stood up, feeling the current strength. The Soul Scent realm is indeed very different from the Soul Emperor. We haven't given the 7th soul ring yet, but we can feel that the soul power and physical fitness have increased a lot. Qian Renxue said happily. Yes. Soul Scent and Soul Emperor are a watershed. Strength is not only reflected in the martial soul itself, but also in the gap between this realm. Chapter 227. Going to the far north, wearing couple outfits with Qian Renxue. After we absorb the 7th soul ring, our strength will definitely increase a lot. Chu Ye said with a smile. Then let's set off immediately and go to the far north to get the 7th soul ring. If we absorb the soul ring as soon as possible, we can come back soon and take the god level test together. Qian Renxue was in a good mood, with a longing look on her face. Ever since she learned that Chu Ye also had the test of the inheritance of the god's position, Qian Renxue couldn't wait to accept the test of the angel god. Okay, then let's set off now. Chu Ye also wanted to start the 9 tests of the god's position in the secret space as soon as possible. Once they accept the god level test, he and Qian Renxue may reach the god level in just 5 years. At the time, with the power of God, they can easily leave the Spirit Hall to take down the 2 empires and unify the continent. An hour later, Chu Ye called Snake Spear Douluo, Chrysanthemum Douluo, and Ghost Douluo to accompany him and took Qian Renxue to the far north. Now, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue have the strength to hunt a 100,000-year soul beast alone. While obtaining spirit rings, this trip to the far north is also a kind of experience. 3 more title Douluo are enough, and there is no need for Qian Dalu and Bai Bai Dong to take action. Let them take it, it will not be challenging. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue also need a little difficulty in training, so that they can grow more. In addition, taking a few people is also to prevent the spirit beasts from choosing to self-destruct. The 5 people took 2 carriages and went to the far north. The far north is located in the northern border of the continental plate. It is one of the forbidden areas for humans and the 2nd largest gathering place for spirit beasts, second only to the Stardew Great Forest. There is extreme cold that ordinary people cannot resist. The closer to the core area of the far north, the closer the temperature will be to the extreme ice. It is a place with a higher degree of danger than the Douluo Great Forest. In that icy and snowy land, there are at least 4 100,000-year-old spirit beasts. 3 of them were called the 3 heavenly kings of the far north by later generations. The Ice Snow Girl, the Snow Emperor, has a cultivation level infinitely close to 700,000 and is the master of the far north. The Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, Ice Emperor, has a cultivation base of nearly 400,000 years, and is the second in command of the far north. The Titan Snow Demon King, Atai, has a cultivation base of more than 200,000 years. It is rumored that the Titan Snow Demon is a descendant of the Titan Giant in ancient times. In terms of race and bloodline, it is the most powerful besides the Snow Emperor. These 3 are the 3 great kings of the far north. Below them, there is also an Ice Bear King who has cultivated for more than 100,000 years. As for whether there are other 100,000-year-old beasts, Chu Ye needs to verify it personally this time. The journey is long, and more than half a month later, the 5 people arrived at the nearest city to the far north, called Ice and Snow City. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue plan to collect some supplies for the far north in Ice and Snow City first. The most important thing is cold-resistant clothing. Because the temperature in the far north is too low, even when approaching the core area, if you don't use soul power to protect yourself, the extreme cold will directly freeze your body, but using soul power is equivalent to passively consuming soul power. So, you need to prepare some. As the city closest to the far north, Ice and Snow City must sell a lot of clothes made from the fur of ice and snow soul beasts. These clothes can resist the extreme cold or play an effective protective role through the fur of soul beasts. The streets of Ice and Snow City are quite calm. Who would wander around outside in this temperature? Chu Ye and his 5 companions walked on the streets of Ice and Snow City, observing the appearance of the city. There were not many people on the streets, and the whole city was covered with ice and snow, looking as if it were all white. Qian Renxue asked for the best store, and the 5 of them went there immediately. Soon, they arrived at the most high-end clothing store in Ice and Snow City. The waiter of this store was also very smart. He could tell at a glance that Chu Ye and his group were not locals. They were dressed luxuriously and should be rich people. The sales lady asked with a smile, "Are you going to the far north for adventure?" "Yes, we need cold-resistant clothes." The sales lady didn't ask what they were going to do, but nodded and took Chu Ye and others to the 3rd floor. "This is the highest quality clothing in our store, all made from the fur of soul beasts in the far north. This area is the best of our store, made by the master blacksmith of our Ice and Snow City, with the best cold-resistant effect. The quality is similar, but the styles are different. Dear customers, you can choose the style you like. Made by the master blacksmith. It's not cheap, right?" Chu Ye asked while touching the material of the clothes. The sales lady smiled. "Yes, it starts at least 1,000 gold soul coins." 1,000 gold soul coins for just one piece of clothing. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled. "You know, 1 gold soul coin is almost enough for ordinary civilians to live for a year, and 1 piece of clothing sells for 1,000 gold soul coins. The world of soul masters is beyond the imagination of ordinary people in terms of financial resources and materials. The rich are very rich. 3 elders, go ahead and choose." "I'll pay." Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost took a quick look and decided on the clothes they wanted to buy, but Qian Renxue was carefully choosing which one looked good. Women all like this, so Chu Ye was not in a hurry and accompanied them in choosing. "Is this one good looking?" "Chu Ye, not bad." Qian Renxue didn't like it very much. "But, I don't think the collar looks good." The sales lady immediately saw the problem and asked, "You two should be a couple, right? I suggest that you two try the couple style." As she said that, the sales lady immediately went to get 2 clothes that were almost the same, but different in details. These 2 pieces are made from the fur of the same 10,000-year-old soul beast, the snow bear. They are exquisitely made and the styles are also popular in the past year. What do you think? Not bad. Qian Renxue took a closer look. If you like it, you can also try it on. Qian Renxue was very excited. Chu Ye, how about we try it on? Forget it, just buy it if you like it, it's troublesome to try it on. Chu Ye basically buys clothes when he sees them, why try it on? Seeing Chu Ye's refusal, Qian Renxue immediately cast an unfriendly look. Chu Ye's mouth twitched, and he nodded immediately. Okay. Try it on. Yeah, Qian Renxue covered her mouth and smiled, took Chu Ye's arm, and went to change clothes. The two of them took one each and walked into the dressing room. After a while, they came out at the same time. The two of them were wearing couple's clothes, snow white, with some exquisite pendant points, standing together. It was quite a feeling. Qian Renxue tidied the corners of Chu Ye's clothes, and the two are very sweet. It's really a talented man and a beautiful woman. The clerk secretly praised, whether it was Chu Ye or Qian Renxue, she felt that they were extremely rare, handsome and beautiful. Chapter 228. Deep in the far north, the 100,000 years Ice Bear King. Not bad, let's take this one, Chu Ye. Qian Renxue twisted her body and admired it. Okay, buy it. Pay the bill. Chu Ye threw out a bag of gold soul coins, paid the bill and left, and then went directly to the far north. After a few hours, everyone finally arrived at the far north. This is the far north. They stood there, looking at the icebergs one after another in front of them, and felt the cold inside. Let's go. Chu Ye retracted his gaze and led everyone into it. The far north is different from the Douluo Great Forest. The atmosphere and terrain here are not suitable for humans. The outer area will consume more of our physical and soul power when we reach the inner area. It must be done. We try our best to avoid conflicts with soul beasts and step directly into the core area to find the 100,000-year soul beast we are looking for. If you encounter the Ice Snow Girl and the Snow Emperor, don't hesitate and evacuate immediately. Okay. The 5 people walked forward in the ice and snow. The road in the outer area is easier to walk. At least there are some flatlands, and trees, flowers and plants grow. But when we got to the inner area, it was almost all ice and snow, with thick snow, cold temperature, strong wind and heavy snow. In this terrain, walking, physical strength, endurance and physical endurance are all a test. Therefore, the strength of human soul masters in the far north will be reduced, while the strength of ice and snow soul beasts will be stronger. This is the advantage of the home court. Although there is only the Snow Emperor with nearly 700,000 years of cultivation, the power that can be exerted in the terrain of the far north with the help of the ice and snow climate is terrifyingly stronger than that of the 98th level titled Douluo. Therefore, if you meet the Snow Emperor, you can't beat him at all. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's target is not the Snow Emperor. Instead, they are considering the Ice Bear King, the Titan Snow Demon King, and the Ice Emperor. It took 2 full days, and the 5 people were very fast on the way, and finally they were about to approach the core area. On the edge of the core area, on the slope of a snowy mountain, Qian Renxue discovered a large number of soul beast footprints. Chu Ye, come and see, what kind of soul beasts are these? The footprints are so big, bigger than us humans. Chu Ye observed these footprints. They all came from the same kind of soul beast, and seemed to be left by a group of passing-by. He thought for a moment, and the answer already came to his mind. If I'm not mistaken, these footprints should be left by the Titan Snow Demon. Titan Snow Demons are over 10 meters tall when they are born, and adult Titan Snow Demons are over 50 meters tall. They are the largest soul beasts in the far north. And they live in groups most of the time, so these must be the Titan Snow Demon clan. Chu Ye explained, pointing to the largest footprint in front. Did you see it? This footprint is 1 or 2 times larger than the others. Yes, this footprint is the king of the Titan Snow Demon clan, the Titan Snow Demon King. Because its size is over 100 meters. Hiss. 100 meters? So scary. Qian Renxue, Chu Ye, Shimao and others were all shocked. The largest one they had ever seen was the Titan Giant Ape, which was over 20 meters tall. How huge would it be if it was over 100 meters tall? Chu Ye smiled. Of all the soul beasts on land, the Titan Snow Demon is already the largest one. But in the sea, there is another sea soul beast called the Deep Sea Demon Whale, which is even larger. Since we can see these footprints, it means that the Titan Snow Demon clan is in this area. However, it is not easy for us to deal with them in groups. It is best to find that Titan Snow Demon King when he is alone. Let's continue on the road. Okay. The 5 people moved forward again. Chu Ye's mental power is already the strongest among the group. He has to use his mental power to search the surroundings and move forward. I thought I would meet the Titan Snow Demon King first. Unexpectedly, within the coverage of Chu Ye's mental power, he first found a 100,000-year-old ice bear. It's the Ice Bear King. Chu Ye's face was happy, and he finally found one. Ice Bear King. Chu Ye, I'll take it. Okay, let's go. The 5 people quickened their pace and rushed towards the Ice Bear King at a high speed. At this moment, the Ice Bear King, who had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years, was completely unaware of the approach of humans. He had just hunted a soul beast, filled his stomach, and was lying down to rest and sleep. He hadn't reacted yet. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, Snake Spear Douluo, Chrysanthemum Douluo, and Ghost Douluo appeared and surrounded the Ice Bear King. The Ice Bear King was sleeping soundly. Suddenly, 5 humans appeared, scaring it so much that it woke up from its sleep and jumped up directly from the ground. Human. The Ice Bear King was a little confused. He didn't know how many hundreds of years he hadn't seen humans, and he didn't react for a while. When he realized the crisis and showed a fierce look. Chrysanthemum and Ghost Douluo had already released the martial soul fusion technique. Bipolar static field. Not good. Roar. Before the Ice Bear King could roar, he was controlled by Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo. 5th soul skill, Titan's Sword. 6th soul skill, Angel Azure Dragon Destruction. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue did not hesitate the next second, and directly released powerful soul skills, blasting the Ice Bear King. Bang. Boom boom boom. Roar. The Ice Bear King was severely injured in one fell swoop. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue came to hunt soul beasts and obtain soul rings, so they naturally would not waste time and entangle with each other, and fight quickly. Moreover, the relationship between the several 100,000-year soul beasts in the far north is not simple. Once they unite, there is no chance, and they must be defeated one by one. Although the Ice Bear King has a cultivation base of more than 100,000 years, in fact, his strength is not as good as that of Deming. The strength of soul beasts, cultivation is 1 point, and blood is also very important. After being hit by the two, the Ice Bear King was already seriously injured. It naturally understood that it could not be the 5 human opponents in front of it, and fled at the first time, while asking for help. Roar. Mom. Mom. The mother of the Ice Bear King had died long ago, and the mother it called was the Ice and Snow, the Snow Emperor. When it was young, it was picked up by the Snow Emperor, and it regarded the Snow Emperor as its mother. At this moment, it was asking for help from the Snow Emperor. Go. Deming. Qian Renxue immediately released the Azure Bull Python, and a wave of light spurted out. Azure Slow Field. Erming. Gravity Suppression. Yes. Titan Gravity Field. Bang. Boom. The Ice Bear King, who was in slowness, was instantly suppressed to the ground by the gravity of the Titan giant ape. Roar. As the Ice Bear King struggled, terrifying ice and snow energy rose from his body. The next second, an extreme blizzard rose, which was very powerful. It was a group attack skill. 7th soul skill, Martial Soul True Body. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost activated their Martial Soul True Body at the same time, releasing their soul skills and leaving. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue held a sword in their hands, running to the left and right sides of the Ice Bear King. Divine Light breaks the sky slash. The two of them killed with a sword at the same time. Chapter 229. Qian Renxue's 7 rings lasted for 100,000 years, and her power increased dramatically. Bang. Boom boom boom. Roar. The Ice Bear King was hit hard again. It was a foregone conclusion to take it down. It seemed that there were only 5 people, plus the 2 souls of Meng and Erming. They were actually 7 titled Douluo-level strongmen. Under this siege, the Ice Bear King finally couldn't bear the burden and fell to the ground helplessly. Damn. These humans are too strong. Mom, Xiaobai, I may have to go first. The Ice Bear King lay on the ground, roaring unwillingly. Ice Bear King, your life will not end here. From now on, you will follow the Eternal Realm with me. Qian Renxue looked at the Ice Bear King. Swear, start. I will share the power of the soul contract with you. Yes. Qian Renxue nodded, and immediately began to absorb the soul ring of the Ice Bear King through the soul contract method, extract the soul of the Ice Bear King, and turn it into a soul. After a moment, the soul of the Ice Bear King condensed. The 15-meter-tall Ice Bear King turned into a nice blue cute little bear, which looked like a ragdoll or a stuffed bear. It was less than 1 meter tall and looked very cute. The Soul Ice Bear King was also surrounded by a circle of red soul rings, and then instantly merged into Qian Renxue's body, fused, and absorbed. Qian Renxue then began to surge. Level 71. Level 72. Level 73. In one fell swoop, she broke through to the 73rd level Soul Saint. At this moment, Qian Renxue was surrounded by 7 rings of yellow, purple, black, red, and red. Her entire aura also changed. Qian Renxue slowly opened her eyes, and the next second, she rushed into the sky, and the six-winged angel martial spirit behind her shone with golden light. Angel's true body. The extremely strong golden light illuminated the entire ice and snow in the huge sky. The dazzling light made Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost Douluo dare not look at it, and even wanted to kneel down, surrender, and worship. This is the six-winged angel martial spirit. It is so powerful when it releases its martial spirit true body. Chu Ye looked at Qian Renxue in the sky with a slight smile on his face. In the state of the martial spirit true body, the increase brought by the six-winged angel martial spirit is extremely terrifying. Qian Renxue's strength has surpassed that of a titled Douluo in the state of the angel true body alone. And her angel domain can only show its true effect through the martial spirit true body. Now Qian Renxue's strength has made a qualitative leap. Originally, Qian Renxue's strength already had the combat power of a low-level titled Douluo at level 91 and 92. Now with the angel true body, plus the Azure Bull Python and the Ice Bear King, 200,000 year souls. Qian Renxue's strength will be enough to compete with a titled Douluo at level 95. In terms of combat power, she is already on par with Chu Ye. Rest. Bang. Qian Renxue retracted her martial spirit, landed steadily, and stood in front of the four people, which made everyone feel a strong sense of oppression. Congratulations, young master. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost all knelt on one knee, their eyes full of reverence. Elders, please stand up quickly. Qian Renxue said, turning to look at her second soul, the Ice Bear King, and said, Ice Bear King, from now on you are my companion soul, and from now on you will never leave me, and I will live and die with you. I will also take you to the top. Yes. Master. The Ice Bear King surrendered to the ground, and said with great respect, Master, you can just call me Xiaobai from now on. Xiaobai? Okay. After Qian Renxue absorbed the Ice Bear King, the strength of her first soul, the Azure Bull Python, also increased a lot. Souls are like this, and they will increase with the strength of the host. After transforming the Ice Bear King into a soul, its body also condensed a 100,000-year-old Ice Bear King soul bone, which fell to the ground. This soul bone is temporarily kept by Chu Ye. Chu Ye, now you already have two 100,000-year-old soul bones in your body, don't you plan to let the Phoenix soul bone absorb them? Qian Renxue asked. Keep it for now. It's a waste to absorb the 100,000-year soul bones. There are other ways to increase the age of the Phoenix in the future. We'll see then. It's not impossible to leave these soul bones to our future children. Chu Ye said with a smile. Qian Renxue covered her mouth and smiled. Chu Ye, you have already thought about the child. Well, it's also a good choice. If our children can inherit these soul bones, the road of Soul Master can be smoother. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost looked at each other and shook their heads and smiled. It's a good reincarnation. From now on, the children of His Royal Highness the Sun and the young master will have 200,000-year soul bones waiting to be absorbed before they are born. 100,000-year soul bones. How many titled Douluo dream of getting something they can't get? My seventh soul ring has been taken care of, Chu Ye. The next step is to find yours. Well, let's continue. After Qian Renxue absorbed the seventh ring, the team became much stronger. Chu Ye's target will be directly locked on the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, the Ice Emperor. The Ice Emperor is more than 300,000 years old, while the Titan Snow Demon King is more than 200,000 years old. The Ice Emperor is stronger, but the Ice Emperor lives alone all year round, while the Titan Snow Demon King mostly lives in groups, and there is a large group of Titan Snow Demons around him. Therefore, if we talk about the difficulty of hunting, the Titan Snow Demon King is actually higher. Although the Ice Emperor is strong, she is only one after all. The three titled Douluo, 300,000-year souls, plus Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, the forces of many parties work together to subdue the Ice Emperor. And the most important point is that the Ice Emperor has another point compared to the Titan Snow Demon King. It is possible that Chu Ye can easily absorb her soul ring. Master, I will lead the way. The Ice Bear King flew in front, leading Qian Renxue, Chu Ye and others to find the Ice Emperor. Now with the Ice Bear King, this local soul beast leading, everyone's progress is much faster. The Ice Bear King grew up in the far north, so he is naturally very familiar with the terrain of the core area of the far north, including the Ice Emperor's habitat and nest. Along the way, the Ice Bear King also explained to everyone the information about the Ice Emperor's abilities, strengths, characteristics, etc. which instantly allowed Chu Ye and others to master a lot of information. As the saying goes, knowing yourself and knowing your enemy will lead to victory in every battle. Understanding the opponent's information ability can more effectively improve the success rate. Master, the Ice Emperor and my mother, the Snow Emperor, have a close relationship. They often meet. If my mother is present, it will be bad. The Ice Bear King said. Qian Renxue asked, how often? About once every 10 years, sometimes every few years. Chu Ye, Qian Renxue. ... Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, Ghost. ... Qian Renxue said speechlessly, is this also called often? Bai. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled, saying, Zhuye, the concept of time of soul beasts may be different from that of us humans. We humans only live for a short period of more than 100 years, and we have reached the end. Even the peep titled Douluo can only live for no more than 1,000 years at most. Chapter 230. More than 300,000-year-old soul beast, the Ice Blue Emperor Scorpion, the Ice Emperor. For soul beasts, living for thousands or tens of thousands of years is easy. Their concept of time is just a few days or a dozen days for humans. Yes, Master. The Ice Bear King nodded and continued, we soul beasts sometimes sleep for a few years, decades, or even hundreds of years. A few years is a very short time in our life. I see. Everyone chatted for a long time and finally arrived at the Ice Emperor's lair. The Ice Emperor's habitat is under a huge ice canyon. There is an ice cave under the canyon, and the Ice Emperor is in it. At this moment, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue and others have already stood on the cliff above the canyon. Master, the Ice Emperor is here. The Ice Bear King said. Zhuye, 3 elders, are you ready? The Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, which is more than 300,000 years old, is much stronger than the Ice Bear King. Once we go down, it may be a hard battle for us. Chu Ye looked at everyone. We're willing to follow His Royal Highness the Sun and go through fire and water. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost said very seriously. Okay. Then, let's go down. Wings of the Dragon God. Chu Ye released his dragon wings, and holding hands with Qian Renxue, the two flew out first. Seeing this, Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost followed closely, and jumped into the cliff without hesitation. After a while, the 5 people arrived under the cliff. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue retracted their wings, and the 3 of them landed steadily and looked at the surrounding environment. On the ice, there are a lot of soul beast bone marrows. These are obviously hunted and eaten by the Ice Emperor, and only bones are left. There are several different kinds of white bones, but most of them come from the same kind of soul beast. Although the Ice Scorpion clan mainly feeds on the Ice Silkworm soul beast, they also eat other soul beasts. Chu Ye glanced around and found a huge ice bug cave about 1,000 meters away. Ice Emperor, it must be in the ice cave. Let's go. Everyone became alert and were about to move toward the ice cave, when suddenly a powerful mental force enveloped them. This mental force was stronger than Chu Ye's. Be careful. The next second, the voice of the Ice Emperor rang out in the canyon. Human. Bai. How did you become like this? The Ice Emperor also quickly noticed the abnormality of the Ice Bear King, and its power seemed to have become a part of the human woman. Ice Emperor, I am now the Master's soul, and together with the Soul Ring, I have been absorbed by the Master and become a part of the Master's power. What? Soul? Yes, this is another form of existence of soul beasts, called soul. Chu Ye roughly explained and directly stated his purpose. Ice Emperor Scorpion, we came to find you, and also to make you my soul. Humph. Although I don't know what means you used to make Bai do this, you small and despicable humans are worthy at my power. Ice Emperor's cold voice sounded. Ice Emperor, becoming my soul is not a bad thing for you. It can even help you get rid of the difficulties you will face in the future. Why don't you listen to me first? Chu Ye looked at the surrounding environment. Although he had not appeared yet, he must be hiding around. Humph. Dilemma. You humans are not qualified to communicate with me. You humans dare to trespass into the core area of my far north. Today, I will make sure you never come back. The voice of the Ice Emperor became colder and colder. The next second, the hard ice surface shattered instantly. A scorpion that was 1.5 meters long rushed out of the ice surface and appeared before his eyes. She was a large scorpion with ice color and emerald green as the whole body. It was obviously a scorpion, but it looked very beautiful. Next. The terrifying force swept over, bang, boom. Instantly all of Chu Ye's people were repelled. Before Chu Ye even remembered to say his proposal, the Ice Emperor had already launched an attack. The Ice Emperor's claws. The Ice Emperor's huge scorpion claws became extremely hard, and it was covered with a layer of diamond-like particles. It crawled rapidly and smashed over. Chu Ye saw this and said no more. The current Ice Emperor completely looked down on them and felt that they were not qualified to talk to her on an equal footing. In this case, the only way to make the Ice Emperor feel threatened and oppressed is for her to pay attention to Chu Ye's proposal. Do it. Following Chu Ye's order, the three elders, including Qian Renxue, all released their martial souls and spirit rings, and the three great souls also emerged. 8 against 1, even if the Ice Emperor is very strong, it will be enough to defeat them. These humans actually have such strength. Looking at the aura emitted by Chu Ye and others, the Ice Emperor finally felt apprehensive and a strong sense of threat. She was very surprised, because in her eyes, humans have always been tiny beings that can be killed at will. Of course, humans must also have powerful beings, but she didn't expect that so many powerful humans would appear at once. 7th Solar Skill, Martial Soul True Body. The three elders took the lead. 6th Solar Skill, Golden Snake out of the cave. 6th Solar Skill, Golden Stamens floating in the clouds. 8th Solar Skill, Ghosts and Monsters. Don't overestimate your own abilities. The Ice Emperor snorted coldly and confronted head-on. Boom. The forces of both sides collided with each other. With his own strength, the Ice Emperor actually blocked the combined attack of the three titled Douluo and even suppressed them. Swear. Let's go. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue ran quickly, and the two of them killed with swords at the same time. Bang! With their strength, they suppressed the energy of the Ice Emperor and repelled him. Terror the Ice Emperor roared, and the power of the domain rose from his body. The terrifying ice attribute energy swept the whole place, and instantly froze thousands of miles. Everything was trapped in the ice and frozen. This is the Ice Emperor's domain, the domain skill of the Eternal Frozen Domain, the Eternal Frozen Domain. Before the Eternal Frozen Domain was released, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, the three elders, and the three soul beasts were all frozen and could not break free for a while, and this time was enough for the Ice Emperor to kill a few of them. All of you humans, today, will become food in my stomach. Go to hell. The Ice Blue Emperor Scorpion rushed over, intending to eat Chu Ye and Qian Renxue first. But the Ice Bear King, who was also an ice element, broke the freeze first and tried to get in. Get out of the way. Bang. The Ice Emperor had long thought that Everfreeze could not control the Ice Bear King, so she was prepared. With a wave of the scorpion's tail, she directly threw the Ice Bear King over and smashed him into the ice wall. I'll kill you first. The Ice Emperor looked confident, and opened his scorpion mouth, ready to tear Chu Ye into pieces and eat him. But at this moment, the ice on Chu Ye's body shattered instantly. The dragon god's wings spread its wings, and a large flame, the phoenix, appeared behind Chu Ye. Chapter 231. Fighting the Ice Blue Emperor Scorpion. What? This is impossible. A mere human being can break my ice in such a short time. The face of the Ice Emperor changed drastically. Phoenix trunk bone skill. Immortal god bird. Grind. The huge phoenix attacked the Ice Emperor with extreme flames. Bang. Chu Ye also moved at that moment. Light and dark fusion slash. Ushu. Puff. Tear Chu Ye slashed the Ice Emperor's body with a sword. The Ice Emperor let out a painful roar and was cut back by a sword. The sword energy was overwhelming. I'm sorry, my body and my external soul bones have the effect of dual immunity to ice and fire. Even my Phoenix soul bone can mount all attacks of ice attribute energy. I have absolute restraint for you ice and snow soul beasts. Chu Ye has many attributes on his body, among which the light and dark attributes brought by the martial soul are the strongest. Secondly, it is the ice and fire attribute. He has an absolute ice and fire dual immunity physique, plus the Phoenix soul bone, which absorbs a large amount of soul bones, and there are also many other attribute blessings. And his ice attribute physique comes from the Ice Dragon King among the 9 sons of the Dragon God. He has the blood of the Ice Dragon King in his body. How can the ice attribute energy of the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion easily freeze Chu Ye's Ice Dragon blood? Phoenix Fire. While Chu Ye was speaking, he had activated another skill of the soul bone again. A huge circle of fire spread around him instantly, and the high temperature rose. The ice around him began to melt rapidly. The ice frozen on Qian Renxue and everyone else melted and was freed. Chu Ye forcibly changed the surrounding terrain and climate into a fire scene. The temperature began to rise and warm. And this high temperature would make the Ice Empire feel very uncomfortable. Damn it. The Ice Empire released the ever-freeze domain again, and the extreme ice froze in, but it could not extinguish the Phoenix fire. It's useless. My fire attribute strength is higher than your ice attribute. When the ice and fire attributes confront each other, whichever side is stronger, the stronger side will have absolute restraint. Chu Ye slightly fanned the wings of the dragon god. You, a human, have some skills, but do you think you can take me down with just this level? Hectares. Bingdi snorted coldly. He crawled away again at a terrifying speed. The two sides fought fiercely again. Under the terrain of the fire circle and the siege of everyone, Bingdi did not fall into the disadvantage at all. But after the battle lasted for a full hour, Bingdi finally fell into a disadvantage. Angel's true body. Angel's domain. Qian Renxue had released her own power to the extreme, and the 5 rings under her feet rose for 10,000 years. 5th solar skill, Sacred Sword. The giant sword condensed by the sacred fire appeared in Qian Renxue's hand. That sacred fire was also that top quality of fire in the world. He chopped directly at Bingdi with a sword. Bang. Boom. Bingdi's double-clamped arms clamped tightly to resist. Chu, Ghost Elder, do it. Got it. Old Ghost. Comb. Yui gone. Ghost and Chu quickly merged together, and all the soul rings collided and merged. Martial Soul Fusion Technique, Bipolar Static Field. No. I can't move. Bingdi panicked. God and Demon Sword Technique, First Style, Sunday and Moon Demon. Ha! The terrifying energy, accompanied by Chu Ye's sword, attacked. This move was the strongest attack of everyone on the battlefield. The combination of the terrifying light and dark energy finally made Bingdi reveal a trace of fear. Tear it. Bang. Boom boom boom. The power directly hit Bingdi's body, and her painful roar seemed to resound throughout the canyon at this moment. The Ice Empire is possessed. After being hit, Bingdi's body was instantly covered with a layer of ice crystal defensor, resisting the remaining power of the Sunday and Moon Demon. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum Duo, Ghost Duo, and Qian Renxue seized the opportunity and all released their strongest attacks. 6th Solar Skill, Angel Azure Dragon Destruction. 9th Solar Skill, Snake Spear Angry Thunder. 9th Solar Skill, Hell Monster. 9th Solar Skill, Chrysanthemums withered, wounded all over the ground, flowers falling and people heartbroken. At this moment, countless golden chrysanthemum petals scattered in the sky, and a huge black ghost hand stretched out from the ground. Snake Spear was accompanied by terrifying thunder and killed head-on. Qian Renxue made a long-range attack. The strongest attacking force from all 4 sides attacked the Ice Empire at the same time. The Ice Emperor's fury. Tear. The Ice Emperor made a terrifying scorpion sound again, accompanied by the extremely strong energy of extreme ice. This was the strongest attack of the Ice Emperor's scorpion. In an instant, the 4 attacks were defeated, and the terrifying force rushed over, directly severely injuring Chrysanthemum, Ghost, and Snake Spear. Bang. Puffar. The 2 Douluos, Chu and Ye, were instantly knocked away, crashing through the ice walls on both sides. Because Snake Spear Douluo's skill was close range, the power wave was timely, and he was the worst. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was almost killed. He lay on the ground helplessly. Qian Renxue had the protection of 2 great souls, Deming and Xiaobai, so she was not injured, but she was also a soul and had lost her power. No one had expected that a 300,000-year-old Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion would be so difficult to deal with. If it encountered a 600,000-year-old Snow Emperor, wouldn't it be impossible to survive? But until now, the state of the Ice Emperor has also declined significantly and is weak. Swear. Qian Renxue understood instantly, and the 2 flagged their wings and flew into the sky. The next second, their martial souls merged. Martial Soul Fusion Skill, God and Demon Angel. Ushu. The 2 merged into one, and an angel that looked like a god and a demon, holding the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness, appeared in the sky. After Qian Renxue reached Soul Saint, the state of the god and demon angel was obviously stronger. Rest. Bang. The god and demon angel chopped down instantly. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. The 2 sides fought fiercely, both of them were burning their soul power and physical strength rapidly. Although the god and demon angel was strong, it consumed soul power extremely. In a long and fierce battle. After dozens of rounds of fierce fighting, Bingdi was already covered in wounds, but Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's soul power was almost exhausted, and they were forced to cancel the god and demon angel state. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were both panting heavily, staring at the ice scorpion in front of them, but their blood was boiling and their emotions were also very excited. Because they hadn't experienced such an all-out, life-and-death battle for a long time, it was very dangerous, but also very passionate. At this time, the three titled Douluo elders stood up with difficulty and came behind Chu Ye again. Bingdi's situation was not very good either. If they continued to fight, both sides would most likely suffer losses. But Bingdi did not leave any way out. She would not let these humans leave easily. If they came back in the future, they would still be a huge threat to her. Today, she was determined to kill these people here, even if it meant losing a lot of energy. Bingdi thought she still had a 60% chance of taking down Chu Ye and his group. Chapter 232. God or Destruction. Human, you were at the end of your rope. Next, just wait for death. The face of the Ice Emperor Scorpion was fierce. At the end of your rope. Ice Emperor Scorpion, it's too early to say that. Chu Ye said calmly. Humph. Your strength is almost reaching the limit. What ability do you have to resist my next attack? Really? At this moment, the flames of the phoenix ignited on Chu Ye again, and the flames wrapped around his body. The passive effect of the phoenix was activated, and he was reborn from the ashes. Chu Ye's wounds, soul power, and physical strength were instantly restored by half under the warmth of the flames. What? The Ice Emperor was shocked, and his heart was shaking. What kind of monster is this human? Originally, the confidence of the 6th level, now the Ice Emperor feels that this is less than the 5th level. This situation makes her mentally prepared to face death. Ice Blue Emperor Scorpion, do you want to become a god? Chu Ye suddenly asked seriously. Become a god? The Ice Emperor was stunned and stared at Chu Ye. Do you want to ascend to the god realm and enter the eternal realm? Humph. Who wouldn't want to? Bingdi snorted coldly, but she didn't understand why Chu Ye said this. Then become my soul, I will make you a god, and step into the god realm with me. Enter the eternal realm. Ha ha, despicable human. Don't try to deceive me. In the battle just now, I already understood that the Ice Bear King's body has died. Although the soul has been transformed into what you call a soul, it can only survive by relying on your human body. The so-called soul absorbs our spirit rings and binds us to you humans. We have no freedom. We must also obey you humans. I, Bingdi, don't want to work for you humans. Besides, as a soul, my body is dead and I live in your body. How can I become a god? Becoming a god is something that both humans and soul beasts desire and yearn for. But humans are very cunning, unlike soul beasts, who are much simpler, with many conspiracies and intrigues. Bingdi doesn't believe these, she thinks that Chu Ye is just deceiving her with the temptation of creating a god. Why not? It is precisely because after becoming a soul, the soul master and the soul are one. When my strength becomes stronger, my soul will also become stronger. Similarly, when I break through the god level and become a god in an instant, my soul will also become a god. Go to the god realm with me and step into the eternal realm. At this moment, Chu Ye stood up loudly, and every word shocked Bingdi's heart. Bingdi is eager to become a god, but she also knows that it is difficult for soul beasts to break through and become gods. She has seen many soul beasts of 100,000 years in her life, and they died tragically when facing the heavenly tribulation. Every time a soul beast breaks through 100,000 years of cultivation, it will face a great tribulation, and every time it almost hovers between life and death. When she, Bingdi, reaches 300,000, it is almost the limit. Even the powerful Snow Emperor had a hard time breaking through 700,000. Becoming a god was more like an unattainable dream and fantasy. If Chu Ye's words were true, then becoming a soul spirit was indeed a shortcut for soul beasts to enter the realm of gods and become gods. But the Ice Emperor also knew that even for the human race, the darling of all things, it was extremely difficult to break through and become a god. Humans do practice very quickly, and their understanding of that great way is far better than our soul beasts, but over the past tens of millions of years, even among you humans, there are only a few who have practiced to become gods. Even if what you said is true, why do you think you can become a god? The Ice Emperor questioned. After you become my soul spirit, you will know how sure I am and why I am confident that I can become a god. Chu Ye's face was full of absolute confidence. That confident look seemed to make the Ice Emperor believe that this human boy could really do it. She was stunned for a moment. Ice Emperor, in the current situation, we have a 60% chance of killing you. I think you should also understand your situation. Whether you agree or not, you will most likely become my soul. Even if you try your best to defeat us and survive by chance, I think you can only live for 10,000 years at most, right? Ice Emperor's expression suddenly sank when he heard it. Chu Ye smiled and continued, when you faced the 300,000-year catastrophe, you almost died. You survived by chance, like dying. You can't resist the next 400,000-year catastrophe at all. You know this very well, right? You can only survive for another 10,000 years at most. When the catastrophe comes, it will be the end of your life. Am I right, Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion? How do you know? Ice Emperor was extremely shocked and couldn't understand that the human in front of him knew her situation so well. Only Snow Emperor and the Qian Renxue Silkworm, who had a very strong mental power, knew about this matter. She really didn't have the ability to face the next 400,000-year catastrophe again, and this was also her weakness. Chu Ye did not respond, but continued to persuade while the iron was hot. Becoming my soul is your only chance to survive. The soul state can allow you to directly avoid the catastrophe. This is also your only chance to become a god. Becoming a soul does lose freedom, but it is not completely without freedom. The stronger my strength, the farther the soul can escape alone. When I break through to become a god, the soul can even escape alone dozens of kilometers away. For you, your freedom can be said to be just to reduce the scope of the far north to dozens of kilometers. Ice Emperor, I have said all. On one side is the opportunity to enter eternal life, and on the other side is destruction after 10,000 years. How to choose? I will give you the last 3 minutes, think about it carefully. Chu Ye's voice and words echoed in the ears of the Ice Emperor for a long time. At this moment, the Ice Emperor's heart was actually moved, because her life was definitely in the countdown, and 10,000 years later, she would definitely not be able to withstand the catastrophe. 10,000 years is not long or short for them, the soul beast, but Chu Ye's proposal is indeed the only way she can think of to survive in the future when facing the catastrophe. And there is also a chance to become a god. This is undoubtedly a very good thing for the Ice Emperor who is facing difficulties. The Ice Emperor asked in a deep voice, "Human, how confident are you in becoming a god?" This sentence, Chu Ye's mental power was transmitted to the Ice Emperor's mind alone. I already have the inheritance of the godhood, but I cannot guarantee whether I can complete the assessment and inherit the godhood, but I have absolute confidence and determination to accomplish this. The Ice Emperor took a deep breath, and in less than a minute, she made a decision. Human, I, the Ice Emperor, believe in the creed that the strong is king. You are much weaker than me now, but I know that you have great potential. Perhaps within 10 or 20 years, you will surpass me, but you are weaker than me now. So, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 233. The Ice Emperor was convinced and absorbed more than 300,000 soul rings. Let me obey you, let me be your soul, yes. But you must withstand my 3 attacks. If you don't fall after 3 attacks, I, the Ice Emperor Scorpion, will become your soul. Ice Emperor said. Your Highness, Holy Sun, no. Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost were anxious when they heard this. The battle just now had made them understand how strong the Ice Emperor was. What if Chu Ye couldn't withstand 3 attacks, Your Highness? We will do our best. Even if we die here, we will definitely take down this soul beast for Your Highness. If we join forces, we will have a greater chance of winning. You don't have to take risks. The 3 persuaded. They were determined to fight to the death. There is indeed a chance of winning if they join forces, but if they continue to fight, the Ice Emperor will fight to the death. Even if they succeed in the end, both sides will suffer losses. It is a miserable victory, and there is even a high probability that someone will die in the battle. As long as Chu Ye can withstand the 3 attacks of the Ice Emperor, the battle will be over. If your lives are to die just to help me get the spirit ring, it's not worth it. Retreat. This, Your Highness the Holy Sun. Qian Renxue was also a little worried and said, Chu Ye, are you sure? Don't worry, it's okay. Chu Ye patted Qian Renxue's little hand, then stared at the ice scorpion in front of him, seriously and solemnly. Everyone, retreat. Qian Renxue, Snake Spear Douluo, Chrysanthemum Douluo, Ghost Douluo, entangled, and finally retreated one after another, leaving space for Chu Ye and Ice Emperor. Human, are you ready? I will never show mercy for these 3 attacks. Ice Emperor said in a deep voice. Come on. Chu Ye's face was serious. Although he had the confidence and certainty to withstand these 3 attacks, the danger was actually very high. He had to go all out and should not be underestimated. In the battle with Ice Emperor just now, Chu Ye had actually used up his invincible golden body twice. The skill of the 100,000-year-old soft-bone rabbit soul bone is invincible and immune to any attack below the god level. It can be used 3 times a day. It has been used twice now, and there is one last time, which means that Chu Ye has been exempted from 1 attack. In addition, the passive effect of the Phoenix has also been used. He now has to rely on his own ability to resist the 2 attacks of the Ice Emperor Scorpion, who has practiced for more than 300,000 years. Chu Ye's strength is indeed very strong, but his body is lacking. Although he has 3 soul bones, and he has strengthened his physical strength a lot over the years. But after all, he is only a level 70 Soul Emperor, and there is still a gap between him and the ordinary level 95 titled Douluo body. Therefore, he must use the power of a thought of gods and demons to improve his physical strength. Light letter I. It is the sun. A strong golden light rises on Chu Ye, and the light dissipates. Chu Ye transforms into a light letter, his short hair becomes long hair, his black hair becomes blonde hair, and his appearance also changes. The sword of gods and demons becomes the sword of light. The breath of this human being when the Ice Emperor saw Chu Ye's transformation into the light letter form, he was shocked and gathered enough powerful strength to attack fiercely with his double scorpion arms. Light wing slash. Chu Ye also directly released the light letter form's big move. This move, while dealing extremely high damage, also had a certain domineering effect, which was to reduce the damage. 3 extremely huge light blades attacked, and although they were broken up by the Ice Emperor, they also dissolved part of the Ice Emperor's power. While the domineering effect was still there, the Ice Emperor's scorpion arms bombarded. Bang! Boom boom boom! Chu Ye was blown away dozens of meters by a blow. His barely supported body did not fall down, but this blow had caused him some injuries. Your Highness the Son of God. I'm fine. Chu Ye covered his chest and signaled them not to come forward. 2 more attacks. Boom. Chu Ye released the light letter form. Power sharing, external soul bones, amplification skills, killing god domain, sword intent, all states started, and Chu Ye's state reached its peak. And mobilized all the remaining soul power to prepare to resist the second attack of the Ice Emperor. Tear. The Ice Emperor roared, this time, almost going all out to attack. 6th soul skill, nothingness. Chu Ye activated the nothingness soul skill, and then combined with his own left and right soul power, poured it into this time. Bang. Boom boom boom. 2 powerful energy bombardment. In the confrontation, Chu Ye's soul power was rapidly consumed, leaving only enough soul power to activate the last invincible golden body. Chu Ye's power disintegrated. The Ice Emperor hit Chu Ye in the state of nothingness. Puff. Chu Ye spit out a mouthful of blood, and his body was knocked back dozens of meters. Under this blow, he was already seriously injured, but he still did not fall down, but it was almost, barely supporting the body. Human. You almost used all your strength to resist my second attack, and the last one. How were you going to block it? Now even a 10,000-year level soul beast is enough to kill you. The Ice Emperor already felt that he had won. But Chu Ye's face almost revealed an extremely confident smile, because as long as he could withstand the first 2 attacks, he would have won the last attack, and he had an invincible golden body. Really? Then try and see if you can kill me. You're really looking for death. Okay, I want to see how you can withstand my last attack. The wrath of the Ice Emperor. At this moment, the Ice Emperor also released all his strength to the extreme, mobilized his strongest attack, and killed with all his strength. This attack has condensed all the soul power of the Ice Emperor. If it fails, it will be powerless to fight. No matter whether she will promise in the end, as long as Chu Ye can withstand 3 moves, she will be willing to be a soul, and she has no ability to resist. Tear, it's over. The strongest attack of the Ice Emperor swept over. A strong golden light flashed on Chu Ye's body again. Invincible golden body. This move again. Damn it. Such a perverted skill can be used so many times. What kind of monster is this human? Bing Di had just seen it twice, but she didn't expect it to be used again. No matter how strong her strength was, it seemed like an egg hitting a stone when hitting the invincible golden body, as if it was an invincible defensive skill. Using it once was perverted enough, but it can be used 3 times in a row. Bang! Boom boom boom. Chu Ye was knocked away by a move again, but under the protection of the invincible real body, he was not hurt at all. Bing Di lay on the ground with a helpless look on her face, sighing in her heart. She was willing to accept this result, but she was very speechless. How many times can this human use the invincible golden body? Don't you have a cooling time for this perverted defensive skill? Chu Ye's pale face grinned. Yes, this is exactly the 3rd time. I see. Bing Di smiled bitterly. She was convinced, sighed again in her heart, and stopped resisting and lay on the ground. Chapter 234 Soul Power Increases Explosively, 7 Ring Soul Saint. Chu Ye awakens to his domain. I, the Ice Emperor Scorpion, am willing to become a part of your power and transform into a soul. Ice Emperor, I will do what I said before. I will take you and step into the eternal realm together. You will not lose out if you follow me. If Chu Ye becomes a god, she will become a god too. Chu Ye cannot. Then the lifespan of humans is only a few hundred years at most, close to 1,000 years, so this is also a gamble for the Ice Emperor. The power of the soul contract. The next second, the strange power in Chu Ye was released. It completely covered the body of the Ice Emperor Scorpion and began to absorb the soul ring of more than 300,000 years in the form of a soul. Soon, the soul of the Ice Emperor was separated from the flesh, and the body turned into countless light points of energy, which were absorbed into the soul. The soul began to transform into a soul, and the shining red soul ring illuminated this piece of ice and snow. Part of the Ice Emperor's body also turned into soul bones and fell to the ground. Then, the Ice Emperor and the soul ring instantly flew towards Chu Ye for the final fusion. Chu Ye's soul power began to soar wildly. Level 71. Level 72, Level 73. Level 74. Level 75. Chu Ye's soul power actually broke through to level 75 inches one fell swoop, and his soul power increased by 5 levels at one time. But in addition to soul power, Chu Ye's body was still violently agitated. The martial soul in his body had rushed out. The sword of gods and demons was shaking wildly. The terrifying sword intent was raging around. What's going on? Everyone around was shocked. The next second, a domain power of light and darkness instantly spread 100 meters away. Chu Ye also opened his eyes at that moment. The domain of gods and demons. Chu Ye's body soared into the sky and flew into the huge sky. The sword of light and the sword of darkness hovered on the left and right. The extremely terrifying pressure suppressed everyone below at this moment, making it almost difficult for them to breathe. Chu Ye awakened the innate domain of the martial soul of gods and demons, the domain of gods and demons. Looking at the sky, the terrifying aura that Chu Ye exuded at this moment, Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, Ghost, couldn't help showing a look of fear on their faces. That aura made them feel extremely afraid. Hush! Bang! Chu Ye fell instantly, and with a bang, everyone was shocked and took a few steps back. His face was full of surprise, and he clenched his fists slightly. I didn't expect that I would awaken my innate domain. Feeling the power of this moment, Chu Ye's mood was extremely surging. Domain. Everyone has a domain, but whether it can be awakened is another matter. Generally, only after a soul master cultivates to level 96, there is a high probability that he may awaken the innate domain of his own martial soul. But there are also a few soul masters who can awaken their domains at the Soul Saint realm, or at a lower realm than the Soul Emperor. For example, Qian Renxue is a Soul Emperor who opens the Angel domain. And the domain has many effects. The most obvious feature is that it amplifies its own attributes and weakens the enemy's power. The God and Demon domain comes with these effects. But not only that. After the God and Demon domain is opened, any domain effect of other people will be directly invalid. In other words, the God and Demon domain can make the domain effect of any Soul Master disappear. This ability is extremely powerful, which is equivalent to making other people's domains useless. In fact, the demon-breaking domain of Sea Dragon Douluo of Sea God Island and the killing domain of the Killing City and the Killing King also have this effect. But in addition to this effect, after the release of the God and Demon domain, Chu Ye's one-thought God and Demon power, light letter and dark letter forms can also be opened at will in the domain, and switch between ice light and darkness at will. At the same time, the consumption required to open the dark letter and light letter forms will be directly reduced by 2/3. In the god and demon form for 1 year, the main consumption is physical strength and a small amount of soul power. This state is very strong, but the consumption is very large, so it usually doesn't take long. But after the consumption is reduced by 2/3, it undoubtedly increases the state time, and can easily switch between light letter and darkness at the same time. The most important point is that in the state of one thought god and demon, soul bone skills and soul skills can also be activated. It was impossible to do this in the previous one thought god and demon state. Now, it is equivalent to opening the light letter form, and you can also use external soul bones, soul skills, soul bone skills, and all the abilities and skills that Chu Ye has mastered. This directly made Chu Ye's power several times stronger than before. And Chu Ye's 7th soul skill, the true body of gods and demons. It will increase all attributes, strength, and abilities by 100%. Now, Chu Ye can no longer analyze how strong his peak power can reach. Maybe even a 96 level titled Douluo can kill him. Too terrible, Your Highness the Holy Sun, let us all just look up to him. The 3 elders looked daunted, but were also extremely surprised by Chu Ye's strength. In any case, the 96 level Chrysanthemum Douluo now feels that he may not be Chu Ye's opponent. Too powerful, maybe my choice is right. The Ice Emperor, who has become Chu Ye's soul, was also extremely surprised. She didn't expect Chu Ye to become so much stronger just by absorbing her own power. This made her more certain that Chu Ye could really become a god. Chu Ye, I just felt that I had narrowed the gap in strength with you, but now it seems that I have been left behind again. Qian Renxue smiled helplessly. Zwyer, you're already great. Chu Ye calmed down his surging mood, and then said seriously, our goal has been achieved. Now let's leave the far north as soon as possible. Okay. Let's go. Chu Ye picked up the soul bone that exploded after absorbing the Ice Emperor, and led people to leave immediately. Most of them were injured and in poor condition, but there was no time to rest on the spot. The battle just now was too loud, and it was not impossible that the ruler of the far north, the Snow Emperor, would notice it. They must leave here as soon as possible. Now they have no ability to fight with the Snow Emperor again. But the Snow Emperor had already noticed it and was on the way. Just when Chu Ye and others had just left the ice canyon, a terrifying blizzard suddenly hit them. The next second, an angry female voice echoed in everyone's ears. You actually killed Xiaobai the Ice Emperor. Damn human. This emperor will make your bodies disappear. Ah. The 3 elders were knocked to the ground by the terrifying blizzard and almost injured. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue joined forces to resist, but they were also crushed to the ground by this force. Is she here after all? Chu Ye's heart sank, and he slowly raised his head, and suddenly saw a beautiful woman standing there coldly on the ice hill in front of the snowstorm. She looked to be in her 20s. She had long white hair, very long, from the back of her head to her feet, and her eyes were sky blue, ethereal and transparent, as if she could see through everything in the world. Chapter 235. Snow Queen appears, terrifying ice and snow. The Snow Queen's slender body is flawless. She wears a white dress without any decoration, but it makes her look so noble and beautiful. Just like a plum blossom in the winter snow, she is outstanding and proud of the snow and frost. She is indeed very beautiful. Her appearance and temperament are not inferior to Qian Renxue beside Chu Ye. And she is the ruler at the far north, the ice and snow girl with more than 600,000 years of cultivation, the Snow Queen. That's right, the Snow Queen looks no different from humans. Her body is just like a human woman. She is the purest ice attribute, a creature condensed from the elemental force of heaven and earth. After countless years of nurturing, she finally has her own thoughts and wisdom and becomes an intelligent creature. Die. The Snow Queen's face is cold, merciless, and she kills with all her strength. The Emperor's sword, the ice extreme unparalleled. A dark blue longsword condensed from ice crystals appeared in his hand, with an extremely terrifying aura covering him. Even though Chu Ye has broken through to the Soul-Sent realm, awakened the realm of gods and demons, and possessed the true body of gods and demons, at this moment, she felt a little powerless facing the ice snow girl in front of her. Yes, although he is now much stronger, there will always be someone who will be stronger than him. There are still people who have enough power to defeat him. Only by constantly becoming stronger and standing at the peak, the top of the pyramid, will there be no existence that can threaten him. Therefore, Chu Ye will never be satisfied with the power he has at the moment. He stood up under the huge pressure. At this time, 2 souls, Ice Emperor, and Ice Bear King also came out to save the scene in time. Snow Emperor. Mom. Wait. Ice Emperor and Ice Bear King appeared at the same time and blocked in front of them in time. Seeing this, Snow Emperor immediately retracted his power and his face was a little happy. Although they seemed to have lost their original bodies, at least they were still alive. Ice Emperor, Xiaobai, this is. Alas, it's a long story, Snow Emperor. Ice Emperor sighed and briefly described the general situation and what happened just now to Snow Emperor. Then he said, in short, that's probably what happened. Now, we have become their souls, part of the human power, and we live and die together. So, you die, if you killed them, it's equivalent to killing us, and also erasing our chance to pursue becoming gods. Become a god. A trace of surprise flashed across Zudai's cold face, and she had put away her murderous intent. Yes, Zudai, when our host breaks through and becomes a god, we, as souls, will also become gods and enter the realm of gods together. Bindai said, hesitating for a moment. Sincerely invited, Zudai, come with me, let's assist this human, help him become a god, and create gods together. In that way, you and I can successfully become gods, enter the eternal realm of our dreams, and go to the realm of gods we yearn for together. Zudai. Bindai invited sincerely, without any intention of pitting Zudai, because after becoming a soul, Bindai had already absolutely believed in Chu Ye psychologically. She also knew that Chu Ye and Qian Renxue both had divine inheritance, and the probability of becoming gods was very high. Therefore, she invited Zudai to become Chu Ye's soul together, because she knew that Zudai was actually more eager to become a god than herself. Bindai also knew Zudai's situation very well. She had already cultivated to the peak of 690,000 years, but she had been unable to break through the bottleneck of 700,000 years, let alone resist the 700,000-year catastrophe. Although at present, Bindai still had a way, which was to try to condense the Yang Dual Soul Core to break through the 700,000 cultivation level and then face the heavenly catastrophe. But this move was very risky, and the probability of failure was actually very high. Once it failed, the origin would be severely damaged, and it would lead to the inability to break through the 700,000-year bottleneck and heavenly power. Therefore, if Zudai wanted to go further, or to achieve the god level, Bindai thought that the only way to go was to become a human soul, which was the best and simplest. Although Bindai knew that Zudai could still use a 100,000-year-old snow lotus as a guide to complete the seal of her own origin, so that she could transform herself and cultivate herself again as a human. But the risk of transformation is too great. Even if you successfully develop in the human world and reach level 70, it is undoubtedly very difficult to become a god. As a good friend of Zudai, Bindai hopes that Zudai will follow her on the path of soul, the simplest and easiest path. Let's create a god together. Zudai was silent, but she was actually tempted. Zudai did not have the same dilemma of life countdown as Bindai, but it was indeed difficult for her to go any further. Her inner desire made her feel moved by Bindai's proposal. Zudai was already tired of the cold and lonely life in the far north. In her heart, she actually yearned for human society. Seeing that Snow Empress was moved, Chu Ye also spoke. Snow Empress, if I, Chu Ye, can get your help, I will have absolute confidence to break through to become a god and ascend to the god realm. And if you become my soul, we will also go to the god realm together and step into the realm you want to reach. This is indeed the fastest way for you soul beasts. Although he was moved, the matter came too suddenly, and this decision was also very important. Snow Empress could not make up her mind for a while, and she also needed to consider and think. She was silent for a moment and said, let me think about it. You have enough time to consider and decide. When I break through level 80 and reach the Soul Duo realm, I will come to the far north again. I hope you have made a decision by then. Chu Ye was not in a hurry. He had just absorbed the Ice Empress. His soul power was not yet level 80, so he could not absorb the Snow Empress. But no matter how the Snow Empress considered it at the time, the Ice and Snow Girl for more than 60 years, the Snow Empress, had become the goal and best choice for the 8-3 in Chu Ye's heart. Because, the combination of Snow Emperor and Ice Emperor has unexpected effects, and they can create many powerful combination skills belonging to them. If Snow Emperor is added, it will definitely be even more powerful. Let's go. Chu Ye retracted his gaze, led Qian Renxue and everyone, passed by Snow Emperor, and gradually moved away. Looking at the backs of Chu Ye and others leaving, Snow Emperor's expression was a bit complicated, but after all, she watched them slowly disappear from her sight. After a long time, everyone returned to the outer area of the far north. This trip to the far north ended, with huge gains, but there was also a little feeling of surviving a disaster. On the way, Snake Spear breathed a long sigh of relief. I finally left this ghost place. This trip really feels like walking through the gates of hell. It's really thrilling. I almost died in this cold world several times. Ghost Douluo was also frightened, especially when he recalled the terrifying aura of Snow Empire just now. If Snow Empire really took action, all of them would have to explain it today. Chapter 236 Absorbing Soul Bones and Entering the Divine Realm Again. Elders, thank you for your hard work this time. Chu Ye said. Oh, Your Highness, you are too polite. We will go through fire and water for Your Highness. This is just a minor injury, and it will be healed in a few months. Douluo, Snake Spear, and Ghost Douluo waved their hands. Hilly. Chu Ye smiled in his heart, and then said, after leaving the far north, let's go to Renxue City to recuperate for a few days, and then return to Qian City. Okay. Now everyone is injured, and Snake Spear, Douluo, and Ghost Douluo are in a state of serious injury. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were also seriously injured. They must recuperate for a few days before leaving for the Pope's palace to recuperate properly. After several hours, everyone finally left the far north and entered Renxue City, and then found a hotel to stay temporarily. In the next few days, everyone entered a state of recuperation. 3 days later, late at night, Qian Renxue was lying on her side on the big round bed in the hotel, sleeping soundly. Chu Ye sat cross-legged beside the bed to heal his wounds. After a while, he finally stopped and opened his eyes. Chu Ye felt his body at this moment. After 3 days of self-healing, his injuries had recovered by more than half, and there was nothing serious. Chu Ye showed a gentle smile on his face, and reached out to touch Qian Renxue's hair while she was sleeping. Qian Renxue moaned softly, woke up, rubbed her blurry eyes, and looked up and said, Chu Ye, you are better. It's okay. Chu Ye smiled, and then said, Zhuye, I plan to absorb the left leg bone of the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion now. You continue to sleep, and I will go to the living room to absorb it. Qian Renxue smiled sweetly. It's okay, I'll accompany you. That's good. Chu Ye gently kissed Qian Renxue on the lips, and then took out the left leg bone of the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, which was more than 300,000 years old, and prepared to absorb it. Now Chu Ye has it. Head soul bone. 60,000-year-old dark demon evil tiger. Trunk bone. More than 200,000-year-old phoenix. Left arm bone. 100,000-year-old titan giant ape. Right arm bone. 100,000-year-old soft bone rabbit. Left leg bone. More than 300,000-year-old Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion that is about to be absorbed. 5 soul bones. Then only the last right leg bone is left, and Chu Ye has officially collected the 6 sets of soul bones. Soul bone is one of the necessary conditions for condensing divine equipment in the future. As we all know, any god who has reached the first level god, or above the first level god, has his own exclusive divine equipment, or artifact. Divine artifacts can be inherited, but most of the divine equipment is condensed by oneself, not inherited. Because the divine equipment is based on one's own soul bone as the prototype, and then when inheriting the god position, the divine power of the god position is poured into it, all the soul bones are tempered and evolved, and finally become soul bones with the divine power of the god position, and then they can be fused into the divine equipment of the god position. And the soul bone cannot be separated from the body, so most of the divine equipment will not be inherited. Take the inheritance of the sea god for example. The inheritor must collect 6 soul bones by himself, and then when inheriting the throne, he will condense his own sea god costume through his own soul bones. Therefore, for the same throne, different inheritors will have different strengths of their costumes. The most direct measure of the strength of the costume is definitely the level of the god, which is actually the strength of the original soul bone. If the soul bone is stronger and the age is higher, when it is fused into the costume, the strength of the costume will be stronger. This is also one of the main reasons why Chu Ye pursues high-age soul bones. Of course, it does not mean that the higher the age of the soul bone, the condensed costume is the coolest. The coolest thing is that all soul bones are very compatible and the age is very high. For example, Qian Renxue, all soul bones are produced from the same soul beast, so the compatibility is very high. When the 6 angel inheritance soul bones are gathered, they can all exert the power of 100,000 years. After condensing the angel costume, the strength will also be very high. But it is very difficult to achieve the soul bone inherited by Qian Renxue. It is impossible without several or even dozens of generations. Therefore, Chu Ye must absorb extremely old soul bones to make up for the gap in matching. As long as all the soul bones are powerful enough, they can cover the 6 soul bones that match, making the final divine equipment powerful. I'm starting. Chu Ye retracted his thoughts. Then he mobilized his soul power and began to absorb the left leg bone of the Ice Emperor Scorpion. The power of the soul bone was integrated into his body and gradually merged with his body. After a long time, the soul bone was completely absorbed by it, and Chu Ye slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, he added 2 more soul bone skills. Qian Renxue looked like a curious baby and asked, "How is it? What soul bone skills have you gained?" 2 skills used by the Ice Emperor. Soul Bone Skill 1, the Ever-Freeze Domain, a domain-type soul skill, which makes the surrounding area of the body freeze rapidly and can freeze thousands of miles. Soul Bone Skill 2, the Ice Emperor's Wrath, is the Ice Emperor's strongest attack skill. Chu Ye said. Oh? Not bad, 1 offensive soul skill, and 1 comprehensive group control soul skill. If there is a large-scale war in the future, you can instantly freeze and control hundreds of thousands of enemy troops. Qian Renxue said happily. Yes, the Ever-Freeze realm is indeed a good skill when the 2 armies are fighting. Chu Ye smiled faintly. He was quite satisfied with the 2 skills given by the Soul Bone. In the process of absorbing the Soul Bone, Chu Ye's injuries recovered quickly, and he was already 90% of his peak state. Now I'm 100% sure that I can complete the test before the 9th test of the God level and kill the Bone Dragon. Chu Ye, I plan to enter the secret space now and try. Seeing Chu Ye's impatient look, Qian Renxue just said, "Be careful." "Don't worry, I know my limits." Chu Ye nodded and said softly, "Chu Ye, you go to sleep first, don't wait for me, I shouldn't come out so soon." "Well, I know." Qian Renxue responded obediently, but Chu Ye had to complete the test before the God test and would be able to accept the God test soon. How could she sleep peacefully? After Chu Ye entered the secret space, she also sat cross-legged to warm up, and spent it with cultivation, waiting for Chu Ye to come out. "Come on, this time, I will directly penetrate you." At this moment, Chu Ye, who had already entered the secret inheritance space, directly released the Sword of Gods and Demons. Ushu. Bang 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 bang. Chu Ye's few big swords easily killed the hundreds of animal bones around him, and then went straight to the space portal of inheritance. The next second, the huge bone dragon that was blocking the front appeared again. Chu Ye raised the Sword of Gods and Demons, and his mouth corners raised. "This time, you can't stop me." Roar. The bone dragon roared and flapped its dragon wings to attack. Chu Ye also released the wings of the dragon god, soared into the sky, and broke through the air with a sword. Huh. Bang. Ha. After several rounds of fierce fighting between the 2 sides, Chu Ye re-released the 7th soul skill. God and Demon True Body. It's over. This sword will chop off your dragon head. Chapter 237. The Dragon God's 9 tests begin. The Dragon God's baptism. At this moment, a huge sword of gods and demons, emitting extreme light and darkness, hovered behind Chu Ye, and his power increased dramatically. God and Demon Sword Technique, the first style. Sun and Moon Demon God. Die. Chu Ye's terrifying sword commanded. Bang. Boom boom boom. The dragon head was cut off on the spot, and the body of the bone dragon was split into 2. The bone dragon was cut off and smashed on the ground, and the remaining bones turned into powder in an instant. Chu Ye withdrew his martial soul expressionlessly, and stepped forward step by step to the portal in front of him, which was the real portal to enter the space of the inheritance of the divine position. "I'm here, the Dragon God 9 tests." Chu Ye paused in front of the portal, took a deep breath, and without too much hesitation, stepped into it. The next second, Chu Ye entered the space of the inheritance of the divine position, a brand new space. Finally, is this the place where my divine position test is located? This place is very vast, and it seems endless at a glance. In the center of this space, there is a huge dragon pillar, which is 100 meters high. On the top of the dragon pillar, there is a 9-color dragon statue. Although it is just a statue, it is also full of a powerful and inviolable majesty, giving people an aura that goes straight to the heart. If I guessed correctly, this 9-color dragon statue is the strongest dragon in history, the Dragon God. In this 9-color dragon pillar, there are 9 dragon pillars of the same size in all directions and at a longer distance. On the dragon pillar, there are 9 dragons of different appearances and colors. Presumably, they are the 9 Dragon Kings under the Dragon God, the Ice Dragon King, the Fire Dragon King, the Earth Dragon King, the Wind Dragon King, the Light Dragon King, the Dark Dragon King, the Space Dragon King, the Gold Dragon King, and the Mountain Dragon King. They each have the 9 attributes of the dragon god, representing the 9 attributes of ice, water, fire, earth, wind, light, darkness, space, time, and stability. Dragon god, the 9 dragon kings. Chu Ye looked at the dragon pillar in front of him and the statues of all the dragons on the dragon pillar. He could feel that there was a bond between his blood and them, and the dragon blood of the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King in his body seemed to be boiling and surging. After entering this space, Chu Ye also felt a mysterious force pulling him to touch the 9-color dragon pillar in front of him. A strong premonition in his heart told him that as long as Chu Ye touched this 9-color dragon pillar, the 9 tests of the dragon god would come immediately. Open. The 9 tests of the dragon god. And now Chu Ye has made all the psychological preparations to face and complete the next 9 tests of the dragon god. So, without the slightest hesitation, he slowly raised his feet and walked towards the 9-color dragon pillar in front of him. The 9 tests of the dragon god, come on. Chu Ye put his hands on the 9-color dragon pillar. The next second, an extremely strong light flashed on the dragon pillar, and soon after, the 9 dragon pillars around it also flashed light, and the entire dragon god space was shrouded in these colorful lights. The 9-color light is dazzling, covering the entire sky. A few seconds later, the 9-color light merged together to form a 9-color divine light, which instantly fell from the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The 9-color divine light enveloped Chu Ye's body. His body slowly floated up, and between his eyebrows, a dragon god mark appeared. This is the mark of God that every god, or the inheritor of the throne, will have. The dragon god mark represents that Chu Ye has the qualifications to inherit the dragon god. At the same time, the shadow of the dragon god emerged above the sky. It silently watched Chu Ye below, and disappeared in just a moment. The next second, the content of the assessment appeared on the 9-color dragon pillar, and the entire dragon god space also rang out with a very majestic voice. The 9 tests of the dragon god have begun. Chu Ye, the assessor for the dragon god throne, you will now accept the dragon god's 9 tests. Only after completing the 9 tests can you inherit the dragon god throne. Then, the content of the first test of the dragon god's 9 tests appeared in front of Chu Ye's eyes, and he read out. Contents of the dragon god's first test. Baptism of the dragon god. Go to the ice dragon pillar to accept the baptism of ice, fire, earth, wind, light, darkness, space, time, stability, and 9-color divine light. Each ray of divine light must be persisted in for 24 hours at a time, for a period of 3 years. Rewards will be given after completing all tests. Ice Dragon Pillar, the test period is 3 years, which is longer than I thought. However, it is the throne of the Super God King after all, so it is normal for it to take longer. Chu Ye thought, his eyes looking towards the Ice Dragon Pillar in the northwest. Then, the figure quickly disappeared. A moment later, Chu Ye arrived at the place of the Ice Dragon Pillar. Around the Ice Dragon Pillar, there were 9 kinds of divine dragon lights of different attributes. Chu Ye needs to enter each of them separately and persist for 24 hours. The time cannot be accumulated, and he must persist for a full 24 hours at one time. The 9 attributes of the divine light can be selected in any order. As long as you persist for 24 hours at a time, it is considered complete. When all the divine lights meet the time requirement, the first assessment is completed. The rules are clear. The time starts from today. 3 years is still plenty. Chu Ye plans to choose a divine light to enter first and try the difficulty of it. His eyes first fell on the ice attribute divine light, and then he stepped into it. Bang! What a terrible pressure! Chu Ye's face was filled with shock. In an instant, he was pinned to the ground by the ice attributed divine light. In addition to the terrible pressure, the ice divine light also exuded the power of ice, which could withstand the extreme ice. It made his body gradually become stiff, frozen, and was continuously eroded by the ice. Power sharing. Wings of the Divine Dragon. Chu Ye immediately activated 2 major amplification powers and stood up from the ground with difficulty. Then he activated all his amplified powers one after another, but he could only hold on for less than an hour before he could no longer bear it and was bounced out by the ice-attributed divine light. 1 hour, with my current strength, I can only hold on for 1 hour in this ice divine light. Chu Ye was panting, his face very solemn. In just 1 hour, he had already exhausted all his strength, and the longer he persisted, the energy of the ice godlight would gradually increase. Can he do it in 3 years? The 9 tests of the dragon god are indeed extraordinary. Chu Ye felt the pressure, and facing the first test of the dragon god, he did not dare to despise or be careless. He immediately came to the fire god light next to him and tried it. The same terrifying pressure fell, but the difference was that in the fire god light, he had to face the extreme fire. His body seemed to be in a sea of fire, just as hot and high temperature, and his body seemed to be burning. It was also nearly an hour before Chu Ye was forced out again. He rested for a while and continued to try the wind god light, to withstand the pressure, as well as the wind attribute, the power of wind. Chapter 238. All spirit rings are upgraded for 50,000 years. As you're a god, I have a bad feeling. But Chu Ye didn't even last half an hour in the wind god light. Next, he also tried the godlight of earth, light, darkness, space, time, stability, and all other attributes. In the end, Chu Ye came to a conclusion and understood the significance of the first test of the dragon god. 9 divine lights of different attributes have different difficulties. While bearing the same pressure, we have to face the power of different attributes. My sword of gods and demons has the attributes of extreme light and darkness, my external soul bone, and the blood of the ice and fire dragon king in my body. I have these 4 attributes, so I will be more relaxed when facing the 4 divine lights of light, darkness, ice, and fire, but other attributes are very difficult. And under the baptism of these 9 divine lights, my body is transforming, my talent and qualifications are also improving, and the speed of absorbing the soul power of heaven and earth and improving soul power seems to have accelerated. At the same time, my body is gradually adapting to, bearing, and being immune to the energy of these 9 attributes. I understand that the meaning of the first test of the dragon god is to improve my cultivation qualifications and transform my body so that I am qualified to use and carry the power of these 9 attributes. This is a necessary part of inheriting the throne of the dragon god. Chu Ye said in his heart. Just by completing the first test of the dragon god, Chu Ye's body can be immune to the 9 attributes of ice, fire, earth, wind, light, darkness, space, time, and stability. At the same time, the 4 powers of light, darkness, ice, and fire that he currently possesses will become even more powerful after the baptism. The position of the dragon god belongs to me. No matter how difficult the road ahead is, I will overcome them one by one, inherit the position of the dragon god, and then step into the god realm with Chu Ye. Chu Ye clenched his fists, and an extremely firm belief surged. When he returned to the Pope's palace, he planned to deal with the first test of the dragon god with all his strength. Soon, Chu Ye left the dragon god space. Back to the secret space outside, the bone dragon and those beast bones will no longer appear. No matter how many times Chu Ye enters, these obstacles will disappear. Chu Ye did not leave in a hurry, but sat down and opened the task list. It's time to await the reward for Task 7. Task 7. Soul power reaches level 70, and the reward is that the age of all soul rings will be increased by 50,000 years. Because he had not absorbed the 7th ring before, Chu Ye did not absorb this reward for the time being. Now the 7th ring has been completed and can be used. Come on. Sitting cross-legged, the soul rings in Chu Ye's body appeared in circles, purple, purple, blab, blab, red, red, red. With the infusion of the rewards of Task 7, the age of all Chu Ye's soul rings is increasing at a crazy speed. At this moment, in the spiritual space where the soul of Chu Ye lives, the Titan giant ape, the soft-bone rabbit, and the ice emperor scorpion also have abnormal movements, and their strength is also increasing. Bindai, what's going on? Xiao felt that her own strength was increasing, and was extremely surprised. And Bindai were also stunned. Said, I don't know either. Bindai felt something first. Chu Ye's power is increasing, and the age of all his soul rings is increasing rapidly. And the soul rings we attach to Chu Ye are also increasing. If the age of the soul rings increases, then our strength will also become stronger because of the improvement of the soul rings. Bindai gave an effective analysis. That's right, the soul and the soul ring are bound together and absorbed by Chu Ye together, so when the soul ring age increases, the power of the soul will also increase. Let's go. Let's go out and take a look. Okay. All 3 souls flew out of Chu Ye's body, watching Chu Ye, who was increasing the age of his soul rings at this moment. Soon, Chu Ye's first ring was purple for 2,000 years, and then purple with blab, and finally turned completely blab, stepping into 10,000 years. Finally stopped at 52,000 years. The second ring also turned blab, 56,000 years. The third ring was also blab, 80,000 years. The fourth ring, originally 60,000 years increased by 50,000 years, began to be black with red, and finally turned red, 110,000, 100,000 year level red soul ring. The fifth ring, Titan Giant Ape Soul Ring, increased by 50,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years of Red Soul Ring. The sixth ring, Softbone Rabbit Soul Ring, increased by 50,000 years, hundreds of thousands of Red Soul Ring. The seventh Soul Ring, Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion more than 300,000 years, increased by 50,000 years, and increased to more than 400,000 years in one fell swoop, a Red Soul Ring. At this moment, the Soul Ring configuration under Chu Ye's feet has become blab, 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 red, 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 3 blab, 4 red. The sudden increase in the age of all Soul Rings has made Chu Ye's soul power, physique, and all soul skills stronger. At this moment, the power he possesses is probably enough to kill a level 97 titled Douluo alone. So terrifying. Chu Ye once never thought that he, who was only a level 75 soul saint, could reach this level of strength. Chu Ye slowly opened his eyes and found that his 3 souls were floating in front of him. He smiled and asked, "How is it? Your strength should have greatly improved." "Yes, our strength has also increased a lot, especially Xiao. There is a very obvious change," Erming said. "Not bad." After Chu Ye had a general understanding, he found that Erming's current combat power was almost equivalent to that of a level 94 to 95 titled Douluo. As for the soul Xiao, when she'd first absorbed it, she only had the strength of a soul master. Later, as Chu Ye's strength increased, her strength also became stronger, but she was still too weak and there was no need for her to fight. Now that she has been amplified for 50,000 years, Xiao's strength is equivalent to that of an ordinary peak soul saint, and the speed of strength improvement is very fast. "Master, Xiao's strength is increased a lot. In the future battles, let Xiao also help you," Xiao said. "Your strength can't help me yet. Let's become stronger first." Chu Ye stood up and prepared to leave the secret space. Seeing this, the 3 souls also consciously returned to the spiritual space. At the same time, in the Douluo God Realm, the 5 gods of the God Realm Committee, Shura God, God of Destruction, God of Kindness, God of Evil, and Goddess of Life, are gathering together for a meeting. This kind of meeting will be held once a year, and this year is the time of the God Realm. 1 day in the God Realm is 1 year in the mortal realm. Most of these meetings are not a big deal. There are just regulations, and they go through the process every year. Basically, they talk about that little thing. But during the meeting, only Shura God was absent-minded. The other 4 God Kings noticed Shura God's abnormality, and after the meeting, they asked, "Shura God, you're a little strange today. Why, did something happen?" Shura God was silent for a moment, and took a long breath. "Recently, I noticed that there seems to be a new star emerging on the Douluo Continent. I tried to see his fate, but it was full of fog. But I always have a hunch." Chapter 239 Qian Renxue starts the Angel 9 tests. 10,000 people worship, but I always have a bad feeling that this new star may disrupt the structure of our God Realm and make the God Realm go to a place that I cannot predict. If people in the mortal world only need 15 years to break through to become gods and enter the God Realm, then for the gods in the God Realm, it only takes 15 days. For the God Realm, it is something that will soon face. Shura, are you worrying too much? Even if there is a newcomer who has just entered the God Realm, how can a newcomer disrupt the structure of the God Realm? The God of Destruction said disapprovingly. The other 3 God Kings did not take it too seriously. Indeed, no matter how many geniuses there are in the God Realm, no matter how terrible their talents are, they cannot break through the limitations of this world or the laws of power in the God Realm. The gods who control the most peak power in this world are their 5 great God Kings. As long as the God Realm is ruled by the 5 great God Kings, no matter how many newcomers who have just entered the God Realm, they will not be able to do what God Shura said. Azura God just felt it, he said. "Maybe, I'm really worrying too much." And the newcomer in Azura God's mouth was Chu Ye. At this moment, Chu Ye didn't know that he had been noticed by the God Realm. He left the secret space and returned to the room. Qian Renxue hadn't fallen asleep yet. She was sitting cross-legged in meditation and cultivation. Seeing Chu Ye coming out, she immediately stopped and asked nervously, "Chu Ye, how is it, did you succeed?" "Yes, it succeeded, Chu Ye. I have opened my Dragon God 9 test." "Great, great, Chu Ye." Qian Renxue was very happy, threw herself into Chu Ye's arms, and said happily, "Now you have passed the God position test, and next, it depends on me." "Don't worry, Chu Ye, you're fine, the Angel 9 test is for you, let's work together and become gods together. Let's step into the eternal world together." Yeah, Qian Renxue happily snuggled in Chu Ye's arms. The two lay on the bed, talking to each other for a while, then took off their clothes and turned off the lights. Chu Ye, look. In the dark night, there was only a desk lamp, dimly lighting up that dark room. Chu Ye took out a square object. Qian Renxue asked with a puzzled look. Chu Ye, what is this? Chu Ye, this is called a soul guide protective film. I have painstakingly researched it recently. I can put it on the soul guide. When we perform the martial soul fusion technique, when the backlash force of the soul guide is released, it will completely absorb and block the backlash force. In this way, we can perform martial soul fusion at any time, without waiting until you are in the dark fist period. Qian Renxue's face turned red, very surprised, covering her mouth. Oh my god. Chu Ye, you can make such a thing. Chu Ye, now, let's try it out and see its effect. Qian Renxue responded shyly. Chu Ye slowly opened Qian Renxue, and immediately attached this thing to the soul guide, and then immediately started to perform martial soul fusion skills with Qian Renxue. After a moment, Chu Ye released his power to the extreme and launched a crazy power attack on Qian Renxue. Bang 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 bang. Qian Renxue bit her lips tightly and clenched her fists. Chu Ye. Chu Ye. Ah! Both of them screamed. Boom 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 boom. The next second, the terrifying backlash force blasted out, but this time, it was not absorbed or wrapped by Qian Renxue's power, and was completely blocked and intercepted by Chu Ye's homemade things. Chu Ye, look. Chu Ye took down the homemade things. Qian Renxue took a look and smiled warmly. It really protected it, but at this moment, the backlash force wrapped in it was leaking out from Chu Ye's homemade protective things, and there was a very small hole. How could this happen? Chu Ye's face changed drastically. Qian Renxue comforted him. It's okay, Chu Ye. This is just a small loophole. It shouldn't happen. But, there are risks after all. Alas, it seems that my skills are not mature enough and need further improvement. Chu Ye sighed in his heart. Okay, let's rest and don't think about these things. Yeah. The next day, early in the morning, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue got up early, washed their faces, brushed their teeth, had breakfast together, and prepared to set off back to Wuhan City. After 3 days of recuperation, Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum Douluo, and Ghost Douluo had recovered a little from their injuries and were almost ready to go back. After many days, everyone finally returned to the Pope's palace. Soon, the fact that Chu Ye's soul rings had increased by 50,000 years shocked the elders and the high-level officials of the Pope's palace. Bai Dong was even more surprised. After some hesitation, Chu Ye only told Bai Dong that he had received the test of the inheritance of the divine position. Bai Dong subconsciously thought that the surge in the age of Chu Ye's soul rings was because he had received the inheritance of the divine position. You are worthy at being my disciple. Your luck is really excellent. You can even get such an opportunity as the position of God. Bai Dong couldn't calm down for a long time. She was so surprised that she couldn't recover. She never thought that her disciple could become a god. Like her, she inherited the test of a certain position of God. In this way, if she inherits the Rakshasa god and goes to the god realm in the future, won't she have a companion? Chu Ye, work hard. Bai Dong said happily. I will, teacher. Chu Ye nodded. In the next period of time, before the Spirit Hall really launched the war, he had to prepare for the first test of the Dragon God. After Snake Spear, Chrysanthemum, and Ghost came back, they immediately closed themselves off to recover. Qian Renxue came to the worship hall alone. At this moment, she was kneeling in front of the angel statue in the worship hall, praying. A layer of golden light shrouded her body. Qian Renxue was undergoing the test rating of the angel. After a moment, Qian Dalu's majestic voice sounded, "Renxue, open your eyes." The next second, a strong golden light broke through the ceiling of the worship hall and directly reached the top of the clouds. Then, the clouds in the sky turned into golden clouds, and another golden light fell, covering Qian Renxue's body. That is. Angel 9 tests. Everyone in the entire Wuhan hall saw the golden light. The civilians in the entire Wuhan city, those who were eating, shopping, or walking on the street, all knelt on the ground, praying, surrendering, and slightly lowering their heads. At this moment, thousands of people worship it. Their eyes were full of respect and faith. The 6 major worshippers, all the elders of the Wuhan hall, including the spirit masters and disciples of the Wuhan hall, were also delighted. Because they knew what the appearance of this golden light meant. The Wuhan hall will usher in a new generation of angel gods. the 9 tests of angels. In the end, you still chose my daughter. But despite this, Qian Renxue, I will also destroy you, the foundation of the angel clan. Bai Dong stared at the golden light with a firm look in her eyes. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 240. Work together. Become a god together. Tang San awakens, but Bai Dong's attitude towards Qian Renxue was actually wavering and complicated. Because of Chu Ye's existence, Bai Dong's thoughts had actually changed a lot in the past few years. Bai Dong actually knew that her love for Qian Renxue seemed to have gradually overwhelmed her hatred. But there was always a lump in her heart that she didn't want to face. She would not hurt Qian Renxue, but her idea of destroying the foundation of the angel family had never changed. On the other side, on top of the tallest building in the Pope's palace, Chu Ye stood alone, with his arms folded across his chest, staring at the golden light from the worship hall. The wind blew the corners of his clothes slightly. A warm smile appeared on Chu Ye's face. Chu Ye, I have already said that the 9th test of angels belongs to you. From now on, let's work hard on our own, move towards that eternal realm, and step into the realm of gods together. The next second, Chu Ye disappeared. However, his voice echoed in Qian Renxue's mind through the ability of telepathy. She smiled faintly. Well, Chu Ye, let's go together. Angel 9 test, come on. I'm ready to face you, I will definitely complete all the tests. Qian Renxue's body, pulled by the angel's divine light, slowly floated up. 9 golden lights flickered around her, and then a huge card appeared on each card. On the card, there were 9 different portraits of the angel god. Each card, each golden light represents a test. There are 9 cards in total, 9 tests. Angel 9 test. Angel 9 test, the 9 tests that countless generations of the Lord of the Worship Hall have been waiting for, finally appeared. Shucks you, Grandpa is really proud of you. Qian Renxue was very excited, and his face was also beaming with joy. You only need 8 light screams to become the next Lord of the Worship Hall, but you have 9 in front of you, which means that you have been recognized by the Angel God and you will have the qualifications to inherit the Angel God. From now on, you have to complete the 9 tests from the angels. Before Qian Renxue finished speaking, a golden mark appeared between Qian Renxue's eyebrows, which was an angel mark exclusively for the Angel God. The content of the first test of the angel's 9 tests also appeared in front of Qian Renxue. Let's start, shucks you. Qian Renxue took Qian Renxue into the test area and started her first test of the angel. On the other side, Chu Ye also came to the Dragon God space again and began his first test of the Dragon God. Both of them began to work hard to complete their own godhood tests. Chu Ye no longer disturbed Qian Renxue. Although they could not meet for the time being, they could still communicate with each other through their hearts. Come on. Ice God Light. Chu Ye looked at the 9 different attributes of the divine light around him, and stepped into the ice god light first. He planned to conquer the 4 attributes of ice, fire, light, and darkness that he mastered. When Chu Ye and Qian Renxue began to take the god position assessment. On the other side, Tang San, who was practicing with Tang Dao, had broken through to level 50 inches spirit power. He was following Tang Dao to a forest. Sha San, sit down and release the blue silver grass, and then feel it with your heart. Tang Dao said. Okay, Dad. Tang San did as he was told, sat cross-legged, released the blue silver grass, and felt everything around him. Soon, a voice seemed to echo in Tang San's ears. King. Great King, is it really you? You finally came to me. King. Tang San's face changed slightly, and then, as if something was calling him, he immediately stood up and ran quickly towards the forest in front of him. After a while, Tang San stood in front of a big tree. You called me. A faint blue energy rose up, condensed by soul power into the shadow of the old man, appeared in front of him. On this continent, I am the blue silver grass who has lived the longest beside you. You have more noble blood than me, so you're the emperor among the blue silver grass. The emperor among the blue silver grass. But I am just a human, just a person with a blue silver grass martial spirit. Tang San looked puzzled. No, the aura on your body is the blue silver emperor. If you are just an ordinary blue silver grass martial spirit, do you think you could cultivate to the current level? The old man continued to explain. After the old man's explanation and narration, Tang San finally understood everything now, and his heart was extremely excited. So, it turns out that my blue silver grass martial spirit is not an ordinary blue silver grass, but the emperor among the blue silver grass, the blue silver emperor. At this moment, the blood of the blue silver emperor in Tang San's body was awakened, and the blue silver grass finally truly awakened and became the blue silver emperor. Tang San's facial features, appearance, figure, and body shape have all changed significantly. Although they are still somewhat similar, ordinary people really can't recognize him. This is the blue silver emperor. Is this the power of the emperor in the blue silver grass? Tang San felt his martial soul and was extremely excited. Because, whether it is the attributes, strength, toughness, or the increase in all aspects, the effect is several times better than before. His martial soul is finally no longer a waste, but a top martial soul, the blue silver emperor. Tang San also added a soul ring that was produced after the awakening of the blue silver emperor martial soul, which became Tang San's fifth soul ring. It is a soul ring equivalent to 20,000 years of cultivation. This kind of soul ring will evolve and increase the age as Tang San's own tolerance increases. Because of the awakening of the blue silver emperor, Tang San's soul power directly soared to level 54. In addition to these, the awakening of the blue silver emperor also gave Tang San a talent field, the blue silver field. This wave of improvement directly increased Tang San's strength. He clenched his fists excitedly, and finally had the courage to take revenge on Chu Ye and the Spirit Hall. Still by my father's side, my strength is increased quickly. At this rate of strengthening, I may not lose to Chu Ye. Until the last time, who knows if he will win until the last moment. Now I have awakened the top spirit blue silver emperor and the top weapon spirit clear sky hammer. When I cultivate both spirits to the 9th ring, even if Chu Ye reaches the peak that a spirit master can reach first, so what? As long as I grow to that height, Chu Ye may not be my opponent. I may not be unable to kill him. At this moment, Tang San's self-confidence returned again. Seeing this, Tang Yi now nodded secretly. His confident son finally came back. Dad, what is my training plan next? Tang San asked happily. Next, I will take you to a place called the Slaughter City. The Slaughter City? Tang San asked with interest. That's right. The murderous domain on me and the god of killing domain on Chu Ye were all obtained in the Slaughter City. Tang Yi now explained, and then said, Sha San, if you can successfully come out of the Slaughter City alive, you'll definitely grow a lot. Chapter 241 The Tang family father and son gave up helplessly, 8 months later. Dad, no matter how dangerous the Slaughter City is, I'm willing to give it a try. After Tang San learned what the Slaughter City was, he was full of motivation. Tang Yi now was very pleased to see this. Okay, Sha San, let's go out. The father and son of the Tang family set off and began to head to the Slaughter City. But Tang Yi now never thought that the Slaughter City had long been under the surveillance of the Spirit Hall. Chu Ye guessed that Tang Yi now would definitely take Tang San to the Slaughter City, so he had deployed personnel around the entrance of the Slaughter City. Once Tang San entered the Slaughter City, Chu Ye could go there and kill him directly. After all, he was already a killing god. The killing god could enter and exit the Slaughter City freely and use soul skills. Chu Ye would never let Tang San get the killing god domain. After many days, Tang Yi and Tang San finally arrived near the town outside the Slaughter City, but before Tang Yi took Tang San into the town, he noticed the Spirit Hall spies around. Something's wrong, Sha San. Tang Yi frowned and said, Dad, what's wrong? Tang San asked. Most of the people who come to the Slaughter City are fallen. There are very few practitioners like you who come here to train. Most of the people here have drunk the yellow spring dew. People who have drunk the yellow spring dew have different manners from ordinary people. But along the way, I found quite a few scattered normal spirit masters. If you tell me where these people are, you can monitor the entire town. Tang Yi now said in a deep voice, thinking. Tang Yi now knew that Chu Ye and Qian Renxue both had the killing god domain, so before he came, he had already put it in mind and used his mental power to secretly explore the surroundings, so he found something unusual. Surveillance. Dad, do you think it could be someone from the Spirit Hall? Tang San was still a little smart and quickly thought of something. When Tang San said this, Tang Yi's heart sank. It's not impossible. Dad, should I still go? Tang San was a little scared. He had heard that the Slaughter City could only be entered but not left. Tang Yi was in a state of uncertainty. During the Soul Master competition, when he was in the Pope's palace, one of his arms and one of his legs were cut off by Chu Ye. Now his fighting power has dropped sharply. If Tang San enters the slaughter city, he will be killed by the spirit hall. You know, the spirit hall has 3 killing gods, Bai Bai Dong, Chu Ye, and Qian Renxue. With his power, he can't protect Tang San at all. Although he took Tang San to avoid the spirit hall and enter the slaughter city, he didn't dare to guarantee that there would be other spirit hall people in the slaughter city. Tang ate outside helplessly in his heart. For safety reasons, he didn't dare to take risks. Shao-san, I'm afraid you can only give up your trip to the slaughter city. Dad, if I don't go to the slaughter city, how can I practice next? Tang San clenched his fists, looking unwilling, but he really didn't dare to go, because he was afraid. I will take you to another place. Tang Chen said in a deep voice. There are actually many extremely dangerous places on Douluo Continent, such as Death Canyon, Lost Canyon, Wind Valley. These are forbidden areas for humans. Ordinary soul masters will die if they enter. It is very strange. Let's go, Shao-san. Hey. Just like that, the father and son of the Tang family came with great enthusiasm and left in disgrace. Many days later, Tang San came to another dangerous place, where he started his cultivation. Return to the Dragon God space. At this moment, Chu Ye was struggling to hold on in the Ice God Light. He had been in the Ice God Light for 3 hours. When he was about to give up, the 3 souls of Ice Emperor, Erming, and Shao also came out to resist together. After all, Ice Emperor is a nice soul. With the blessing of Ice Emperor, Chu Ye held on for another hour. More than 4 hours. Bang! Chu Ye was finally overwhelmed and was blasted out by the Ice God Light. In a month, with all my strength, including my soul, I could only last for 4 hours. Moreover, the Ice God Light is still an attribute that I adapt to. At this rate, it's hard to say how long it will take for 3 years. However, fortunately, during this process, my body has become more and more adapted to ice. In other words, as time goes by, I will be more relaxed when facing the Ice God Light. Chu Ye lay on the ground, panting, with confidence on his face. After a long rest, he entered the Ice God Light again. The first time, he almost had to hold on with all his strength just after entering. Now he only needs to release some of his soul power to stabilize his posture and stand. Chu Ye remembered all these changes in his mind, and during this process, the blood of the Ice Dragon King in his body and his ice immunity ability were being enhanced invisibly. Time passed day by day. 5 hours. 6 hours. 7 hours. 8 hours. Chu Ye's time in the Ice God Light was getting longer and longer. 8 months later. Chu Ye's time in the Ice God Light reached 22 hours. He mainly conquered the Ice God Light, but he also tried a small number of other 8 lights during this period. Light and Dark Divine Light, 10 hours. Fire Divine Light, 8 hours. Earth and Wind Divine Light, 4 hours. Space and Time, 3 hours. Among them, stabilizing the attribute and stabilizing the Divine Light is the most difficult, and the current progress is 1 hour. Chu Ye's soul power has also reached level 78 during this period. At this moment, 2 years have passed since the Soul Master competition, and Chu Ye is already 20 years old. 8 months, and another 4 months will be a full year. 3 years, with my current progress, it's less than 1/3. But Zue is about to complete the first test of the angel. Chu Ye was a little helpless. He naturally expected that his speed of becoming a god might be faster than Qian Renxue, but now it seems that it will be much slower. On the other hand, Qian Renxue's soul power increased dramatically during the first test of the angel. From the original level 73, it soared to level 79, and increased by 6 levels in 8 months. The soul power level once again surpassed Chu Ye. As for the current situation of the continent, it is also changing in the direction of the development expected by the Wihan Hall. The re-election meeting of the 7 major sects is being held. The major sects will arrive at the Pope's Palace in a month to participate in the re-election meeting of the 7 major sects. After the new 7 major sects are determined and the Spirit Hall controls the Spirit Master World, the next step will be to conquer the surrounding principalities and kingdoms in just a few months, and use the territories of these countries to establish the Spirit Empire, which will be inserted between the 2 empires. The national war will definitely come early. I have to be faster. Chu Ye gritted his teeth and stepped into the Ice God Light again. Time passed quickly. 1 month later. The re-election meeting of the 7 major sects officially began. There are more than 30 sects and Spirit Master families in total, but after the preliminary screening. In the end, only 10 sects are qualified to come to the Pope's Palace to participate in the final battle of the 7 major sects. Chapter 242. The New Seven Sects, Conquering the Ice God Light. The re-election meeting of the seven major sects is a very important event in the Soul Master world. Its grandness and the attention it has received from the mainland are not inferior to the Soul Master competition. Nowadays, almost all the famous Soul Masters from all over the Soul Master world, big and small, have come to the Pope's Palace to watch the re-election of the seven major sects. Among the 10 sects that came to participate in the competition, which 7 can finally ascend to the position of the 7 major sects will be determined entirely by strength. The leaders of each sect will fight in a single round-robin 1v1 battle. The leader with the most and highest number of wins will be the strongest and will be given the position of the head of the 7 major sects. The second and third leaders with the most wins will be one of the top 3 sects. The 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th are the lower 4 sects. The 8th, 9th, and 10th will be eliminated and will not be able to become one of the 7 major sects. Hey, which sect can take the top spot among the 7 major sects in this re-election? Oh, among the participating sect masters, there is not a single titled Douluo. In terms of Soul Douluo alone, I'm afraid the Elephant Armor sect is the only one who can win. Indeed, the leader of the Elephant Armor sect, Qian Renxue, is a level 89 peak Soul Douluo. His defensor is so strong that even ordinary titled Douluos would find it difficult to break through. Their chances of winning are indeed very high. The re-election is about to begin. All the onlookers are talking fiercely, but almost everyone thinks that the Elephant Armor sect can take the top spot among the 7 major sects. Qian Renxue himself is also very confident. Ha. The position of the leader of the 7 major sects, Qian Renxue, have secured. Now, the re-election meeting of the 7 major sects officially begins. In the first match, please invite the leader of the Elephant Armor sect, Qian Renxue, and the leader of the Wind Sword sect, Feng Beilong, to come on stage to compete. The first match begins. Qian Renxue and Feng Beilong step onto the duel stage at the same time. Qian Renxue looked confident and said, "Feng Beilong, be smart and admit defeat. You can't be my opponent. There's no need to embarrass yourself." Hilly. Really? I don't think so. Feng Beilong still had a white cloth covering his eyes, and he supported his back with one hand, calm and composed. Qian Renxue laughed when he heard it. Ha. Feng Beilong, I haven't seen you for a while, and your confidence is improved. Although your Feng Jian sept has weapon-type sword martial spirits, your attack power and lethality are not very strong. I know that you are good at assembling formations as a whole, but your individual strength is relatively not outstanding. How can you overcome my defensor? Roar. The next second, Qian Renxue directly released the Diamond Mammoth martial spirit, and the 8 rings under his feet rose one after another. Soon, you'll know. Feng Beilong was still very calm. Then, he released the Wind Sword martial spirit, and the soul rings under his feet rose one after another, yellow, purple, blab, 9 rings. Qian Renxue, who was still laughing just a second ago, suddenly froze in disbelief. The whole audience was completely boiling and shocked. What? You actually broke through to the titled Douluo realm. How is this possible? You can actually break through to the titled Douluo realm. Bai Dong looked at Feng Beilong with interest, her lips floating slightly. Feng Beilong, interesting. I thought that I would never be able to reach the titled Douluo realm in my life. I was able to break through because of His Royal Highness the Holy Sun. If it weren't for His Royal Highness the Holy Sun, Feng would not have achieved this. Feng Beilong was in awe. He is now a titled Douluo at level 91. To break through to the titled Douluo realm, it actually depends on more than just talent, of course, unless you were a very extraordinary genius. Ordinary geniuses, or people with innate soul power of level 8 or 9, may spend their entire lives, or reach the peak of level 89 early, but they may not be able to win to the titled Douluo realm. Chance, luck, and the understanding and perception of one's own martial soul are the keys for most geniuses to break through the titled Douluo realm. After Chu Ye conquered the Wind Sword sect, he actually had an in-depth exchange with Feng Beilong about his perception and understanding of the sword. During this exchange and discussion, Feng Beilong seemed to have found something deeper about the Wind Sword martial soul. After more than a year of perception and understanding, he had already broken through the titled Douluo realm 3 months ago. Come on, Qian Renxue. There is no doubt that Feng Beilong, who is already level 91, will eventually defeat Qian Renxue. And the Wind Sword sect will also step into the position of the head of the 7 major sects and become an unexpected dark horse. 10 days later, the conference finally ended. The new 7 major sects in the Soul Master world have been officially determined and called on the world. Although Chu Ye is not here now, he has already paid attention to the people below in advance. At this moment, Chu Ye came to the place where Chu Ye was in seclusion and said, "Your Highness the Holy Sun. The 7 major sects have been settled." In the Dragon God space, Chu Ye heard Chu Ye's voice, stopped his actions, walked out and asked, "What are the new 7 major sects?" The top 3 sects are Feng Jian sect, Xiang Jie sect, and Xinglong sect. The bottom 4 sects are Fire Leopard sect, Rock Antelope sect, Peacock Nest sect, and Black Tiger sect. The Feng Jian sect is the leader of the 7 major sects now. Chu Ye said. "Oh? You said that the Feng Jian sect is the leader of the 7 major sects?" Chu Ye was a little surprised, but soon he thought of something. Could it be that Feng Balon has broken through the titled Douluo realm? Yes. Chu Ye nodded. So that's it. Chu Ye smiled in his heart, and then said, "I know, go down, Chu Ye." "Yes. Your Highness the Holy Sun." After Chu Ye left, Chu Ye had understood the current situation, and then returned to the Dragon God space again, sprinting towards the Ice God Light with all his strength. 3 months later. In the Ice God Light, Chu Ye stepped into it again. "Come on. This time, it's time for me to conquer the Ice God Light." Bang! The terrifying pressure suppressed, and the energy of Ice attribute swept in. 1 hour. 2 hours. 4 hours. 8 hours. 20 hours. 23 hours. The last 10 minutes. The energy of the Ice attribute became more and more terrifying, and even in the last 3 minutes, it was several times more terrifying than before. His body was constantly being eroded by the extreme ice, and he was freezing cold, and he couldn't help but scream in pain. A whole year has passed, and I haven't even completed a ray of divine light. It's too slow. Too slow. This time, I must make it through. Chu Ye gritted his teeth. Ice Emperor. Hold on. At this moment, Chu Ye has raised his own power to the extreme, and the 3 souls are also helping to resist. There are only 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Chu Ye screamed wildly. His strength has reached the limit, and he relied entirely on willpower to make it to the end. Boom boom boom. At this moment, Chu Ye instantly emanated a terrifying extreme ice. His body was also completely transformed into an extremely icy physique by the Ice God Light. Chapter 243 Qian Renxue completed the first test of Angel and advanced to Soul Douluo. From now on, any ice and water attribute power in the mortal world will hardly cause harm to Chu Ye. His body has reached the extreme effect of anti-ice. He also has a body that carries one of the 9 attributes of the Dragon God, the Ice attribute. The Ice God Light dissipated instantly after Chu Ye completed 24 hours. Ice Emperor, use your strongest attack to attack me. Chu Ye said to the Ice Emperor. Okay. The Ice Emperor nodded. Ice Emperor's wrath. Boom boom boom. The terrifying ice attribute energy attacked, and Chu Ye released less than 4 layers of his own power and easily resolved it. This is the extreme ice physique. Chu Ye was slightly stunned. You know, although the Ice Emperor turned into a soul and his strength was weakened, after all his soul rings were upgraded for 50,000 years, the Soul Ice Emperor was at least 96 levels of combat power. Her full strength attack was easily resolved by herself, and she was almost immune to the Ice Emperor's attack, about 80% of the power. That is to say, with Chu Ye's current strength, as long as the opponent is a Soul Master with ice and water attributes, even if the opponent is a strong man of level 98 or 99, Chu Ye has the ability to fight with him. So terrifying. This will undoubtedly give me a huge advantage when I face the Snow Emperor in the future, or go to the sea to hunt the Deep Sea Demon Whale King who is infinitely close to 1,000,000 years of cultivation. Chu Ye sighed, looking at the 8 divine lights that still exist around him. Fire, earth, wind, stability, light, darkness, space, time. If I complete the baptism of all these divine lights, I will have the ultimate physique of 9 attributes. This first test of the Dragon God has benefited me greatly. Now, it's the turn of the Fire God Light. Chu Ye immediately determined the next major goal to conquer. After a short rest, he stepped into the Fire God Light in one fell swoop. The terrifying flame energy swept over, as if in a sea of fire, the body was boiling, burning, and burning. At the same time, on the other side. At this moment, Qian Renxue has completed the first test of the Angel, and her soul power has officially entered the 80th level. Advanced to the Soul Douluo realm. You have completed the test of the first test of the angel, and you have done a good job, Qian. Qian Dalu nodded with a look of satisfaction, and then borrowed the power of the angel god. He condensed your God-given soul ring and pushed it in front of Qian Renxue, saying, "This is a God-given soul ring given by the angel god. You don't need to hunt soul beasts, you can use the God-given soul ring to give you the most suitable ability for yourself and the maximum soul ring you can currently bear. Qian, absorb it." "I understand, Grandpa." Qian Renxue held the golden bead floating in front of her. The next second, it turned into countless golden threads and flowed into the angel mark between Qian Renxue's eyebrows. She sat cross-legged and began to quickly absorb the energy of this God-given soul ring, fusion, condensation, soul ring. In less than 3 minutes, she broke through level 81 inches one fell swoop. Then, level 82. Level 83. Qian Renxue's soul power is soaring. It finally stopped at level 84. And the God-given soul ring she gave also went to the red 100,000-year level. Boom. The sacred angel light spread from Qian Renxue's body. She slowly opened her eyes. At this moment, her breath became even stronger. She smiled faintly. 84 level, Chu Ye, my soul power is much ahead of you again. She also gave a 100,000-year soul skill of the God-given soul ring, Qiming. A 100,000-year soul ring does not necessarily have 2 soul skills, it can also be 1, but in the case of 1 soul skill, the power is usually stronger than 2. In just 1 year, Qian Renxue's soul power has increased from level 73 to level 84. The difference of 11 levels is very terrifying. Grandpa, start the second test of the angel. Qian Renxue knew that Chu Ye was also working hard on the test. She didn't want to disturb him, so she wanted to continue the test. At this moment, in the light of the fire god, Chu Ye was continuing to bear the baptism of this divine light. He suddenly found that after he completed the ice god light and endowed his body with an extremely icy physique, it became easier to face the fire god light. The extremely icy physique is fighting against the fire. After understanding this, he can then quickly, one by one, and specifically complete the remaining godlight baptisms through the mutual suppression and restraint of the attributes. Chu Ye used less than 3 months to fight against the fire godlight with the extremely icy physique, and he persisted in the fire godlight for 24 hours. Bang! The extreme flames spread, the fire godlight disappeared, and Chu Ye gave it another physique again. Extreme fire physique. The anti-fire attribute effect has reached the extreme. And Chu Ye has now accepted the Dragon God test for a total of 1 year and 3 months. At present, the Ice and Fire God lights are completed. Light and Dark God lights, 13 hours. Earth and Wind God lights, 6 hours. Space and Time, 4 hours. Steady God light, 2 hours. As for Chu Ye's soul power, it has also reached the peak of level 79. In a maximum of 2 months, he will also step into the 80th level, the Soul Duo realm. The next step is the attribute of light. When I have a light constitution, I can use light to suppress darkness. Chu Ye planned, raised his foot again, and stepped into the light of light. While Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were taking the divine test, the situation on the continent was still changing rapidly. The Spirit Hall had already taken in the territories of the surrounding principalities, kingdoms, and the Spirit Empire, and was initially forming an imperial power. All the branch hall personnel, soul masters, and soldiers in the 2 empires of Tiando and Xinglua were also evacuating, and the soul master forces, sects, families, and all forces that the Spirit Hall had attracted and conquered were all relocated to the sphere of influence and territory of the Spirit Hall. The horn of war has not yet sounded, but everyone has understood that the war is coming soon. 1 month and 15 days later, Chu Ye's soul power finally reached level 80. The light of light lasted for 20 hours. Chu Ye stood up slowly and clenched his fists. I'm level 80 now. I should go to the far north again. I wonder what Snow Queen thinks. At this time, Douluo's voice sounded outside. Your Highness, the time has come. His Holiness the Pope asked me to come here. Please come out of seclusion. Seeing this, Chu Ye left the Dragon God space and stepped out of the retreat. Rumble. The door slowly opened, and Chu Ye's figure walked out. His breath was very calm, but it was hidden and turbulent. I haven't seen Chu Ye for more than a year. Douluo only felt that the young man in front of him was like a sleeping beast. Once awakened, it seemed that he could devour him in an instant. Too scary. It's really too scary. I haven't seen it for more than a year. The aura emitted by Your Highness seems to suffocate me. Douluo lowered his head uncontrollably, his eyes full of admiration and fear. Chu Ye took a deep breath of the fresh air outside. "Let's go, Elder Ju." "Yes, Your Highness." Douluo lowered his head and followed Chu Ye silently. Chapter 244 The Wuhan Empire is established. Today is also that day when the Spirit Hall announces the establishment of the Spirit Empire. Therefore, this day is very important. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue are the young master and the son of God, respectively. Even if they are in the divine test, they need to come forward to witness this moment together. At this moment, all the important personnel from the Spirit Hall, including the new 7 major sects, have gathered in front of the angel statue in the Pope's palace. Bai Dong stood on a high position, looking down at everyone present, but she had arrived for a long time and had not yet begun to announce the establishment of the empire. The crowd was already a little anxious. What is His Holiness the Pope waiting for? Why hasn't he announced it yet? Yes. He has been waiting for almost half an hour. He should be waiting for His Royal Highness the Holy Son and His Royal Highness the Young Master. They also need to show up for such an important occasion. Bai Dong glanced at Ghost Douluo behind her and asked, "Aren't they here yet?" Before Ghost Douluo answered, shouts rang out at the scene. "His Royal Highness the Holy Son, here! His Royal Highness the Holy Son! His Royal Highness the Holy Son is here! It's been a while since I saw His Royal Highness the Holy Son." "Yes. I heard that he is in seclusion and cultivating." The whole audience was excited, and their eyes were fixed on the top. After a while, Chu Ye's figure appeared in front of everyone, and he walked step by step to Bai Dong's side. "Teacher." Seeing Chu Ye again, Bai Dong was very surprised. "Chu Ye, you're indeed making rapid progress. Perhaps in 2 or 3 years, you may not be inferior to the power that I have mastered now. Teacher, you are too kind. Chu Ye still has a long way to go to surpass you," Chu Ye said modestly. As the master and the disciple were talking, the voice rang out again. "Young master, here you are." Soon, Qian Renxue slowly appeared in everyone's sight and stood beside Chu Ye. Seeing Qian Renxue, Bai Dong's face also condensed slightly. She could feel the faint divine aura emanating from Qian Renxue at this moment, the aura of the angel god. Her power was probably much stronger. This girl. Bai Dong's expression was complicated. "Swear. Chu Ye, we'll talk later." "Yeah." The two met again after more than a year, and they were very excited. There were many things they wanted to do and many things they wanted to say. After all, they had never been apart for so long. But now's the time to announce the establishment of the Wuhan Empire, and it was not appropriate to be affectionate and sweet on the spot. They could only restrain their emotions and look ahead. Now, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were here, and Bai Dong could make the announcement. At this moment, Bai Dong's voice echoed in everyone's ears, and the atmosphere on the scene became extremely solemn. "You are all elites of our Spirit Hall. For the long-term peace and stability of Douluo Continent, today, the Spirit Hall complies with the will of heaven and officially establishes a country, renamed the Spirit Empire. And I will be the Empress of the Empire. Everyone below knelt on one knee and worship it. Long live your Majesty, long live your Majesty, long live your Majesty. Now, I will give you the inscription of the Spirit Empire. From now on, you are the people of the Spirit Empire. Long live your Majesty. Long live the Spirit Empire." Countless people shouted loudly, and the atmosphere was ignited to the extreme. At this moment, the Spirit Hall Empire was officially established, and Bai Dong also became the unprecedented first Empress. Feeling the Spirit Empire inscription printed on their chests, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue looked at each other, and they had the same idea in their hearts. From now on, they will jointly protect this inscription and the Spirit Empire. Now, the Spirit Hall has established an empire. Next, they will recruit soldiers, prepare military supplies, train the army, and begin to prepare for the subsequent national war. The war will officially start within 3 years at most. It can be said that the pace is 4 years faster than the time in Chu Ye's memory. The two empires of Xingluo and Tiando are also very nervous, and the nobles of the empire are even more panicked and scared. Because the unification of the Wuhan Empire has no great impact on ordinary people and civilians, and even in the future, the law and order of this continent will be better, the lives of civilians will be more satisfactory, and civilian spirit masters will have a better chance to succeed. In fact, the only ones who were afraid of the nobles. Now, the two empires have also entered a state of preparation for war, and are doing their best to attract spirit masters, men and horses, prepare military supplies, and train the army. The whole continent seems to be in a state of tension. After the matter was over, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, who had not seen each other for a long time, planned to reminisce about the past, go out to relax, and have some leisure and entertainment. Let's go, Chu Ye. Wait, my Zhuye. Qian Renxue ran in front, smiled back to her dream, and stretched out her hand to Chu Ye, who was running behind her. Chu Ye chased after Qian Renxue and grabbed her hand tightly. The two of them interlocked their fingers and stepped into the Pope's palace side by side. The following time belonged to the two of them, their world. They wandered in the busiest streets of Wuhan City, eating, drinking, playing, making noise, relaxing, entertaining, talking and laughing, sweet, happy, and joyful. Time slipped away unknowingly, and it was 12 o'clock in the morning. They came to the top of Jingshan Mountain, the busiest place in Wuhan City, and sat on the green lawn together. Qian Renxue held Chu Ye's arm with both hands, tilted her head, leaned quietly on Chu Ye's shoulder, blowing the night breeze, looking up at the starry sky. Enjoying the quiet moment. Chu Ye, why are the good times you said always so short? It seems that in the blink of an eye, half a day has passed. I wish time could be slower. Qian Renxue clung to Chu Ye, feeling a little unhappy. Because both of them are now in the God-level assessment, Qian Renxue has just started the second angel test, and both of them have very tight time and can't delay. They also want to work hard as soon as possible to complete their respective assessments. Therefore, they only plan to get along for half a day. Tomorrow, they will each enter their own assessments and continue to work hard. Therefore, Qian Renxue is a little unhappy. Chu Ye smiled helplessly and said seriously, Zhuye, our days together are still very long, even forever, until eternity, we will always be together. I'm afraid that you will be with me for thousands or tens of thousands of years and still get tired of it. No. No matter how long we are together, I won't get tired of it. Qian Renxue pouted with a firm face. So. Zhuye, we are separated for a short time now, work hard, and we will have eternal time together in the future. Chu Ye hooked Qian Renxue's nose. Well, you're right, now we work hard, and we can be together for a long time in the future. Qian Renxue smiled happily. The two looked at each other, and the atmosphere was just right. Under the moonlight, their faces slowly moved together, first their noses touched, and then they gently kissed each other's lips. Chapter 245 Separation from Qian Renxue and return to the far north. Qian Renxue nervously grabbed Chu Ye's hands and said, Chu Ye, do you want to perform the martial soul fusion here, in case someone sees it? Zhuye, don't be afraid, it's late at night. Chu Ye looked serious. Then, Qian Renxue nodded, and she was also looking forward to it, and it was difficult to restrain the backlash in her heart. However, it was her first time in such an occasion, which made her feel very special and different. Chu Ye also had this feeling. The two did not want to waste the remaining time, and quickly started to perform the martial soul fusion technique. I'm here, Zhuye. Okay. Chu Ye mobilized the terrifying power, condensed it on the soul guide, and then slowly merged with Qian Renxue's martial soul. Chu Ye. Qian Renxue bit her lip and tightly grasped Chu Ye's arm. Zhuye, I will start to speed up the operation of martial soul fusion, speed up. Chu Ye took a deep breath, and instantly increased the use of soul power. On the soul guide, he launched a crazy force impact on Qian Renxue's martial soul, and continued to fuse martial souls. Bang! 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 Chu Ye's condensed power became more and more terrifying. Each impact of power was more violent than the last time. The speed and frequency of martial soul fusion were gradually accelerating. The martial souls of the two are constantly merging. After a long time, the two screamed at the same time. The next second, boom boom boom. Zhuye. At this moment, Chu Ye's terrifying backlash power was all blasted out and was completely absorbed by Qian Renxue's martial soul, including, without a trace of escape. The soul power, physical strength, and strength of the two were out of sync, and they were sweating all over, quietly feeling the tranquility after the storm. After staying in silence for a long time, Chu Ye released the soul guide and released the state of martial soul fusion with Qian Renxue. The sun rose slowly. After watching the sunrise together, the two left the top of Mount Zero and returned to the Pope's palace. Chu Ye accompanied Qian Renxue all the way to the worship hall. Qian Renxue reluctantly pulled the corner of Chu Ye's clothes. Chu Ye, we are going to separate again. It's just a short separation. Now for us, the God's test is the most important. Go, Chu Ye. Chu Ye kissed Qian Renxue's forehead gently. Well, I know I will definitely complete the Angel 9 tests as soon as possible. You should also work hard. I will. Qian Renxue slowly let go of Chu Ye's foot, looking back every 3 steps, and finally disappeared from Chu Ye's sight again. This time, they are separated, and it may be another year or 2 before they can meet again, but he should let Qian Renxue concentrate on completing the God's test. He also has to do his best. Chu Ye also turned around and left. Now he should go to the far north to obtain the 8th soul ring. At this moment, Ghost Douluo and Chrysanthemum Douluo had been waiting at the door of the Pope's palace for a long time. Seeing Chu Ye come in, they bowed respectfully and said, "Your Highness the Holy Sun. Chrysanthemum Douluo, Ghost Douluo, let's go." Yes. The 3 of them set out on the road to the far north decisively. This time, it was enough to bring Chrysanthemum and Ghost Douluo with them. They had the martial soul fusion skill, which could still be useful when facing a strong person of the level of Snow Emperor. Other low-level titled Douluo, no matter how many they brought, might be killed by Snow Emperor in seconds. As for the elders of the offerings, they would never leave the mountain now, because Qian Renxue had opened the 9 tests, and they also had their own missions during Qian Renxue's God test. Moreover, there might be no need to fight to subdue Snow Emperor. The 3 of them galloped and headed to the far north at the fastest speed. Now the progress of the Dragon God's first test was already very extreme, and Chu Ye didn't want to waste too much time in the process of obtaining spirit rings. After about 10 days, they finally arrived at the far north. "Let's go straight to the core area of the far north," Chu Ye said. Yes. Chuan followed behind Chu Ye, running quickly on the snow. After possessing an extremely icy physique, Chu Ye did not feel the cold at all when he entered the far north. He even adapted to the climate here very well, and it no longer had any effect on him. Even when he reached the core area, his body would not be eroded by the ice at all. Bang! 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 At this time, there was a violent vibration around, as if dozens of huge monsters were running and approaching. After a while, Chu Ye and the other 2 saw huge snowmen one by one, appearing in their vision. Their goal was to come towards Chu Ye and the other 2. This group of huge snowmen was the Titan Snow Demon King clan, and the largest one of them was over 100 meters long, and it was the Titan Snow Demon King Atai. "Not good, Your Highness the Holy Sun, we have been discovered." Qian Douluo looked nervous. A mere human dares to set foot in the core area of the far north. "Get out." The voice of the Titan Snow Demon King echoed throughout the world. "I came to the far north not to look for you, Titan Snow Demon King, get out of the way, don't block my way." Chu Ye ignored the huge monster in front of him. "Arrogant human, then you'll die here." Roar. The Titan Snow Demon King roared, forming an extremely strong blizzard. The snowflakes seemed to have turned into hard stones, and they came with violence. "Your Highness." The power of the Titan Snow Demon King is so terrifying. Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo could only barely resist. "You wait here." Chu Ye was fine, and directly released the martial soul true body state and the wings of the Dragon God, flapping his wings, and easily flew towards the Titan Snow Demon King in the blizzard. "My Snow Demon Roar has no effect on this human." The Titan Snow Demon King frowned. He had never seen such a human before. It seemed that like them, the snow-souled beasts were extremely adapted to the climate of the far north. Roar. It waved its huge arms and hit Chu Ye head-on. The arm of the Titan Snow Demon King was like a pillar that supported the sky. It was also extremely huge. The thumb alone was probably as big as Chu Ye's body. Chu Ye's body looked very weak in front of such a fist. But Chu Ye still faced it head-on. A human who is looking for death actually dares to confront the king head-on. The Titan Snow Demons around him looked disdainful, looking at Chu Ye as if he were a dead man. This human would definitely be killed by their king with a punch. But just as the Titan Snow Demon King's huge fist was about to hit Chu Ye rose up with a terrifying force. The first move of the God and Demon Sword technique, the Sunday and Moon Demon God. Hush. Bang. Boom boom boom. Roar. The Titan Snow Demon King screamed loudly, and the next second, his entire arm was cut off in half by Chu Ye, and then it shattered instantly, and the arm turned into countless ice cubes and fell to the ground. What? Chapter 246. Snow Emperor reappears, Emperor Palm, no snow and great cold. What? This is impossible. King. The Titan Snow Demons behind him were all stunned. Who is this human? The Titan Blood Demon King was also extremely shocked, looking at his chopped arm in disbelief, with a solemn face. Titan Snow Demon King, I have the strongest extreme ice physique in the world, so any attack of yours will be weakened by half for me. Your power is indeed huge, but you are also weak in size. I have 100 ways to kill you and cut you easily. Chu Ye held the sword of God and demon in his hand, his body floating in the sky, ignoring it. Every soul beast has its own abilities, just like soul masters, who have quick attacks, strong attacks, powerful strength, and fast speed, and the Titan Snow Demon King is very powerful. The combat effectiveness of the Titan Snow Demon King may not be as good as that of the Ice Emperor Scorpion, but its strength and power will definitely be greater than that of the Ice Emperor. If Chu Ye did not have an extreme ice physique, he would not dare to confront the Titan Snow Demon King head-on. He looked calm and said, Titan Snow Demon King, you have been practicing for more than 200,000 years. It is not easy. If you don't want to die like this, get out of my way. Looking at the human in front of him, Titan Snow Demon King saw an absolute king's aura in him, which was stronger than that of Ice Emperor. This is not strength, but a kind of deterrence to others. And the direct confrontation just now has made Titan Snow Demon King understand that he is very likely not the opponent of this human. Human, what are you going to do by entering the core area of the far north? Looking for the boss of your far north, Snow Emperor. Chu Ye said bluntly. Snow Emperor? Titan Blood Demon King's face changed, and his breath became cold again. If you are here to cause trouble for Snow Emperor, then my Titan Snow Demon clan will never let you run rampant here. A large amount of ice flew towards the broken arm of Titan Snow Demon King, and the severed arm was restored again. Titan Snow Demon King wanted to fight again, even at the cost of death. Yeah. I almost forgot. You seem to like to die? Chu Ye suddenly remembered, shook his head and smiled. How can you, a human being, know that? Titan Snow Demon King was also a little surprised. He did like to die. Thousands of years ago, he even courted Zhu Dai, but was beaten all over his body by Zhu Dai, including his skull. All his bones were shattered. He recuperated for 1,000 years before he was able to recover. When he thought of that scene, Titan Snow Demon King felt a pain in his bones. Hilly. Chu Ye smiled and did not answer. The next second, a dark and light energy instantly spread. God and Demon Realm. Since you are ready, come on. Chu Ye's breath changed, and his appearance began to change. Red and black demonic energy emanated from his body. Dark Letter. I'm the Night. Chu Ye directly activated the Dark Letter form. In the God and Demon realm, he can now switch between the three forms of Light Letter, Dark Letter and human form at will. And in this state, he can now release any soul skills and skills he has mastered. Now, his aura has completely surpassed that of the Titan Snow Demon King. The Titan Snow Demon King's eyes were full of fear and dread, but he would not retreat. Roar. He took a step and attacked again with a punch while roaring wildly. But at this moment, a crisp voice sounded around. Atai, stop it, you will be chopped to death by him. Snow Emperor. The Titan Snow Demon King stopped attacking, and before he could react, a wave of ice attribute energy came, and Snow Emperor stood on the shoulder of the Titan Snow Demon King in the blink of an eye. Snow Emperor, you are finally here. Chu Ye retracted the Dark Letter form and all his strength, and looked at the ice and snow girl in front of him with the most friendly attitude. Going straight to the point, he asked. I haven't seen Snow Emperor for more than a year. What do you think of our previous proposal now? Snow Emperor looked at Chu Ye now, and was extremely shocked. Chu Ye now was completely different from a year ago. The hidden power was far better than that time. This human has grown too fast. Snow Queen couldn't help but exclaimed, but didn't answer. Instead, she asked, you. Have you cultivated to the point where you can absorb the 8th ring? Yes. Snow Queen took a deep breath. Although Chu Ye's appearance had most likely proved that he was already an 8th ring, she still felt terrified after confirming it. Snow Queen had lived for so long, and among all the soul beasts, she was relatively familiar with humans. She knew very well that among humans, the speed of cultivation was also very terrifying. She originally thought that Chu Ye would need at least 3 years to come to the far north again, but this year was much faster than expected. And at this moment, the faint ice emanating from Chu Ye made Snow Queen feel very kind. This human seemed to be more suitable for the far north than all the ice and snow soul beasts, and seemed to be more adapted to the ice attribute than any of them. Snow Queen seemed to have guessed something. Human Chu Ye, take my palm. Snow Queen said too much nonsense, and suddenly gathered terrible power, jumped off the Titan Snow Demon King, and quickly attacked Chu Ye. Emperor Palm, Great Cold and No Snow. Snow Empress directly released her strongest skill, waving her jade hand and slapping it. Both Chrysanthem and Douluo and Ghost Douluo felt the terrifying power of the palm of the Snow Empress. If it were them, they would probably be killed instantly by the palm. Your Highness the Holy Sun. Be careful. This ice and snow girl is probably going to kill you. Ghost Douluo and Chrysanthem and Douluo were extremely nervous and panicked. But Chu Ye was exceptionally calm. Emperor Palm, Great Cold and No Snow, is indeed the most powerful skill of the Snow Empress. Plus borrowing the home climate of ice and snow. The palm of the Snow Empress is very terrifying, even a titled Douluo at level 98 would find it difficult to catch it. But he did not feel a hint of murderous intent in the eyes of the Snow Empress. Maybe she was testing something, or maybe it was a test of becoming her soul. But this power is really terrifying. It is a blow that the Snow Empress almost used all her strength. Don't panic, two elders, you should step back first. Chu Ye raised his hand and signaled Chrysanthem and Douluo and Ghost Douluo to stay away, because the power of the Snow Emperor would affect them. Then, he flapped his dragon god wings fiercely. His dragon god wings had an ice dragon wing on one side and a fire dragon wing on the other. He used the ice dragon wing side and poured all his strength and soul power into it to resist the attack of the Snow Emperor. Bang! Boom boom boom. Two terrible forces, a peak confrontation. This kind of power is almost close to the height that can be achieved in the mortal world. The moment they touched, Chrysanthem and Douluo and Ghost Douluo were blown away by the terrifying power of the Snow Emperor on the spot. Ah! The two screamed and were blown away dozens of meters by the power fluctuations. But Chu Ye was able to remain invincible in the confrontation. He just suffered a certain impact in the confrontation, but he was not seriously injured. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 247, Absorbing the 8th Soul Ring. Soul power increases again. This is the extreme ice physique. The suppression effect of ice attribute energy was mostly neutralized by the power of the Snow Empress's palm, so Chu Ye could barely resist it. If he didn't have the extreme ice physique, he would not have been able to withstand the Snow Empress's palm. You know, the Snow Empress has cultivated for nearly 700,000 years. Under the terrain and climate of the home field of ice and snow, the Snow Empress's strength is probably enough to compete with the 99th level title Douluo. So that's it, you really have the extreme ice physique. The Snow Empress tone was calm, but her heart was a little turbulent. She asked, "The last time I saw you, you didn't have the extreme ice physique, right, human?" "Yes, this is the new physique I gave you when I was taking the God's Inheritance test." Chu Ye did not hide it from the Snow Empress and told the truth. God's Inheritance test. The Snow Empress's face changed again, and she was a little surprised. She didn't expect Chu Ye to be a human who already had the God's Inheritance. Chu Ye didn't say much about this at the time. The Snow Empress seemed to understand why the Ice Empress would persuade her so hard to join and become Chu Ye's soul. Chu Ye said very seriously, "Zhu Dai, you haven't answered my question yet. How do you think about being my soul? Give me an answer." Zhu Dai was silent for a moment. "Human, I hope you won't let me down, and won't make me feel that my choice is wrong." "So, you agreed?" Chu Ye was delighted. "To be honest, before you appeared, I was actually still hesitating, but when I saw you again, in just over a year, your changes shocked me. Humans like you are also evil in the human world. Your growth makes me believe that you will definitely achieve the status of a god in the future. If I can become your soul and enter the realm of gods through you, it would be my honor. I will help you grow and help you become a god." Zhu Dai has made up her mind. Chu Ye was relieved. He could persuade Zhu Dai to be willing to become his soul, which would save a lot of trouble. Although he now has an extremely icy physique, he does not have enough confidence to defeat Zhu Dai even with Douluo and Ghost Douluo. He smiled and said sincerely, "Zhu Dai, your choice will definitely be the right one. It is impossible for Zhu Dai to break through to 700,000 years, which is her limit. By becoming Chu Ye's soul, she can break through continuously, step into the god level, become a god, and possess the power of God. In addition, she herself is tired of the loneliness and solitude of the far north, and she yearns for the human world. By becoming a soul, she can be accompanied by other soul beasts such as Bin Dai and Xiaobai, and can also feel the human world she longs for. Feel the smell of fireworks in the human world. Compared to her being alone in the cold far north every day, living a lonely life, becoming a soul and entering the human world, her life may be more interesting. The Titan Snow Demon King was stunned when he heard this. Zhu Dai, what are you talking to this human being about? What does soul mean? Zhu Dai did not answer directly, but instructed. I will follow this human being to the human world. Bin Dai and Xiaobai have actually left long ago. From now on, you are the master of the far north, and you will be the one to protect our territory. Zhu Dai. Her. Zhu Dai immediately gave a cold look. The Titan Snow Demon King lowered his head slightly. I understand, Zhu Dai. Family members, let's go. The Titan Snow Demon King slowly turned around and gradually left Chu Ye's side with the Titan Snow Demon clan. Let's start, human. Zhu Dai had put down all his defenses and strength, and stood in front of Chu Ye. In his heart, he was excited, but also uneasy. After all, once he took this step, he could not turn back. Snow Queen. At this moment, Chu Ye's 3 souls, Ice Queen, Erming, and Xiao, have also been floating on the left and right. They will have a partner who is far more powerful than them. Chu Ye did not delay any longer and immediately released the power of the soul contract, including the body of Snow Queen, and gradually connected the power of the two together. Welcome to join, Snow Queen. From now on, we are the closest partners. Chu Ye and the 3 souls said in unison. The next second, Snow Queen's soul began to leave her body, and her flesh was also turning into energy bit by bit, merging into the soul, and the soul began to transform into a soul. It is hard to imagine how terrifying the power of the Holy Sun will increase after absorbing this ice snow girl. Chu and Ge stood aside with great excitement, their eyes full of awe and worship. After a moment, Snow Queen's soul was completely transformed into a soul, and her flesh completely dissipated, turning into a soul bone that was infinitely close to 700,000 years old, falling to the ground. The soul Snow Queen and her soul ring were also completely integrated into Chu Ye's body and were rapidly merging. At this moment, Chu Ye's soul power soared wildly. Level 81. Level 82. Level 83. Chu Ye's soul power surged, and his soul power continued to rise. Level 84. Level 85. A full 5 levels. Chu Ye's soul power surged, and finally stopped, stepping into the 85th level soul Douluo realm in one fell swoop. Chu Ye's God and Demon Sword Martial Soul once again gave 2 soul skills, the 8th soul skill, Skill 1. God and Demon Extreme Ice Dance, a large-scale group attack soul skill, instantly releasing countless sword blades of 3 attributes of light, darkness, and ice from around the body, which are very dense and almost impossible to avoid. The attack range is within a radius of 1 kilometer. In other words, this move can instantly kill anyone within a kilometer. The 8th soul skill, Skill 2. God and Demon Great Cold Snuller's Sword, a single attack skill, has surpassed Chu Ye's current strongest move, the Sunday and Moon Demon. Now Chu Ye's personal strength is enough to compete with the 98th level titled Douluo. If you add the 4 great souls, Zhu Dai, Bin Dai, Erming, and Xiao, no one below level 99 can be his opponent. Chu Ye is undoubtedly about to stand at the top of this continent. I really want to find an opponent who is equally matched with me to verify my true strength now, and what level I can reach. Feeling the current power, Chu Ye's heart is extremely surging, excited, and the desire to fight is very strong. But under the sky, on this continent, whether it is a soul master or a soul beast, there are no more than 10 opponents who can be equal to him, or even stronger than him. Bye bye Dong, Qian Renxue, the peak level 98 Golden Crocodile Duo, the golden-eyed Black Dragon King Daitian who is still lurking in the Xingdou Great Forest, the current leader of the Ocean Sect, the peak level 97 Tang Xiao. The Great Worshipper at the Sea God Island, the peak level 99 Poseidon who is known as the Invincible in the ocean. Above the sea, the Deep Sea Demon Whale King, the Overlord of the Sea Soul Beast. That's about it, no more than 10. Chapter 248 Mission 8 Reward, Growth Martial Spirit. Among them, Qian Renxue, Daitian, both sexes, and the Deep Sea Demon Whale King are almost all demigod level masters. This level of masters is far beyond Chu Ye's challenge. Bai Bai Dong is Chu Ye's teacher, so there is no way to fight with him. Therefore, Chu Ye does not have many opponents. It seems that there are only Golden Crocodile Duo and Tang Xiao. After I complete the first test of the Dragon God, I will find Golden Crocodile Duo to spar with each other. Chu Ye smiled faintly, and then opened the task list again. Chu Ye once gave 10 system tasks after kissing Qian Renxue and signing a life and death contract. Now he has completed the 8th one. The first 7 tasks show what rewards can be obtained. But from the 8th task onwards, it is unknown. Only when it is given, will you know what rewards are given. Your soul power has exceeded level 80. Do you want to accept the reward of task 8 now? Because it is unknown, Chu Ye wants to wait until he absorbs the soul ring of the Snow Emperor before accepting the reward of task 8. Now he can accept it. Come on. Chu Ye confirmed immediately. The next second, the voice in his mind sounded again. The reward for task 8 is being given. The reward is given successfully. You'll get a growing martial soul. Martial soul? A growing martial soul. Chu Ye's eyes widened. Growing martial soul, single color water snake, detailed introduction. Beast martial soul, water attribute, the current martial soul quality is waste martial soul level. This martial soul can evolve 8 times. Every time a soul ring is added, it evolves once. The first evolution is still a snake, the second evolution is a python, the third evolution is an anaconda, a dragon, a horned dragon, an inlong, and a dragon king. Every time the martial soul evolves, the soul quality will improve. When the martial soul evolves to the Dragon King level, it will become a 9-color dragon. The first 7 tasks were so awesome, and Chu Ye was not particularly surprised that the reward for task 8 was a martial soul, but until he saw that it could evolve into a 9-color dragon, he was finally shocked. 9-color dragon. This is exactly the dragon species of the dragon god. In other words, this martial soul can evolve into the dragon god martial soul. If this is the case, then this martial soul, when it evolves to the end, will be a super god king level martial soul. A martial soul that is far more awesome than a god level martial soul. Interesting. It seems that the last tasks 9 and 10 will definitely not be easy. Chu Ye smiled in his heart, and the next second, he decisively released the second martial soul that he had just given. Martial soul possession. Tear it up. The sound of the snake tearing rang out, and soon a very weak little snake appeared behind Chu Ye. It looked very weak, with a blue body, not aggressive, and not fierce. The aura it exuded was also very weak, not at the soul beast level, just like an ordinary animal snake, with ice and water attributes. Is this my second martial soul, the single-colored water snake? It looks really weak. It's worthy of being a useless martial soul, but fortunately it can evolve. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled, then took back the beast martial soul. Now, I'm also a twin martial soul, 1 weapon martial soul and 1 beast martial soul, not bad. Adding a martial soul is equivalent to adding 9 soul rings, and at least 9 soul skills of these 9 soul rings. As long as it is cultivated to the 9th ring, in fact, no matter how strong the quality of this martial soul is, it will bring me a strong effect and help. Chu Ye smiled faintly, calmed down his surging mood, and then picked up the 600,000-year-old peak soul bone dropped by the Snow Emperor and temporarily put it into the Space Soul Guide. Then he said, "Okay, we should leave the far north, Elder God." "Yes. Your Highness the Son of God." The two followed Chu Ye and quickly left the far north. After about 10 days, Chu Ye returned to the Pope's palace and continued to retreat, and entered the Dragon God space as soon as possible. Continue to endure the remaining divine light baptism of the first test of the Dragon God. Because Chu Ye absorbed the 8th soul ring, his soul power increased by 85 levels, his strength increased a lot, and he also had a powerful soul, the blessing of the Snow Emperor. After returning, in less than 3 days, he completed the light divine light and the dark divine light one after another. Endowed with a light physique and a dark physique. In just less than a month, there are still 5 remaining earth, wind, space, time, and stable divine lights, and the progress is also rapidly improving. At present, wind divine light, 20 hours. Earth divine light, 17 hours. Space, time divine light, 12 hours. Stable divine light, 7 hours. At present, the total time consumed by the first test of the Dragon God is 1.5 years, and there is still 1.5 years left, which is enough time. According to the current progress, I will only need about half a year to complete the first test of the Dragon God. Chu Ye thought, the time for the first test is finally not so limited. He already has enough time to complete this test. However, Chu Ye did not want to delay. He wanted to complete the first test as soon as possible and enter the second test of the Dragon God. He had a hunch that his God test cycle would definitely be longer than Qian Renxue's Angel 9 test. At this moment, Qian Renxue had already started the Angel Third test, and Chu Ye could not fall behind too much. At the same time, somewhere in the Tiando Empire, Tang San, who followed Tang Ao to practice, also grew rapidly in the past year and a half. Tang San has completely mastered the Chaos Cloak Hammer method and can hit 81 hammers in a row. And when he was training in a dangerous place in a human-restricted area, he accidentally discovered a fairy grass that can strengthen the foundation and improve the talent and qualifications of practice. Although Tang San in this life does not have the fairy grass resources of the ice and fire yin yang eyes, after absorbing the fairy grass he found, his soul power also increased by 3 levels. In addition to a year and a half of hard practice, Tang San's soul power has reached level 63 at this moment. Tang San said happily, "Dad, in the past few years of practicing with you, my strength has increased too fast. It would have been great if I could practice with you earlier." Recalling that he practiced with Yu Xiaogang at the time and now with his father, compared with the teacher is really nothing. "Xiao-san, now is not the time to be happy. Although your strength is increased very fast by my side in the past few years, with your current strength and soul power level, there must still be a gap with the Holy Son Chu Ye of the Spirit Hall. With Chu Ye's talent, I guess that his soul power is at least around level 75, and his strength should be close to level 94 or 95 titled Douluo, so Xiao-san, you still need to work harder." Tang Ai now guessed. "I know, Dad, I will definitely work harder, and one day, I will definitely surpass him." Tang San clenched his fists with a confident smile on his face. Tang Ai now was also very pleased. He patted his son on the shoulder and encouraged him again. "Very good, Xiao-san, remember, you were a twin martial soul master, and you have 2 martial souls. As long as you cultivate both martial souls to the 9th ring, no matter how talented Chu Ye is or how fast he cultivates, when you and he reach the same level, he will definitely not be your opponent." Tang Ai now often uses the matter of twin martial souls to motivate Tang San. This point is also very useful to Tang San, and Tang San is clearly motivated. Chapter 249. Vast Sea Universe cover, Douluo Qian invites Tang San. Unfortunately, the father and son did not know that Chu Ye was now also a twin martial spirit. "Dad, you're right, twin martial spirits are my biggest advantage." Tang San smiled. "Xiao-san, this is about all your father can teach you now. Your future training will depend on you," Tang Ao said. Now Tang Ao's training on Tang San is over. "Well, I understand, Dad." Tang San nodded. Next, he planned to go back to Tiando City first. Take a look at his former partners, and take a look at Yu Xiaogan, who has long been reduced to a cripple, with all 5 limbs broken, and can only lie in bed every day, living a miserable life, unable to take care of himself. A few days later, Tang San returned to Tiando City to visit Yu Xiaogan, and met with Daimyo Bai, Ma Hongjin and others. Soon, Tiando's second prince Douluo Qian learned about Tang San and Tang Ao's return, and immediately sent someone to invite the Tang family father and son to the palace. Now, the second prince Douluo Qian has been officially appointed as the crown prince of the Tiando Empire. Tang San naturally dared not refuse the invitation of the crown prince. After all, if Tang San wanted to overthrow the Spirit Hall and kill Chu Ye, he had to rely on the power of the empire, and Douluo Qian was his best ally. "I don't know why the crown prince is so anxious to find my father and me." At this moment, Tang San and Tang Ao had already arrived in front of the crown prince's palace, and Tang San said respectfully. Douluo Qian was very serious and didn't drag his feet. He said directly, "Brother Tang San, His Majesty Yoshin, the situation on the mainland is difficult now. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family and the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect have been destroyed. The 7 major sects and the 8th level Soul Masters of the entire Soul Master world are now in the hands of the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall has even established the Spirit Empire and is preparing military supplies and training troops on a large scale. The war is about to break out. The current situation is extremely unfavorable to our Tiando Empire, especially in terms of Soul Master strength, which is the weakest. I hope that Brother Tang San and His Majesty Tang Ao can come forward and persuade the Ocean sect to come out and help our Tiando Empire. Although the Tiando Empire has 1,000,000 strong troops, the Soul Master strength is too weak, much weaker than that of the Xingluo Empire. They must have a strong enough Soul Master to bless them before they are qualified to compete with the Spirit Empire." After thinking about it, only the Aoshan sect, which has long been in seclusion, can instantly improve the strength of the Empire's Soul Masters. Douluo Qian had actually already requested Tang Yue, the master of Yuexuan of Tiando Palace Yanlei Academy, to go to Aoshanzhen, but returned in vain. Aoshanzhen now seemed unwilling to come out. Therefore, Douluo Qian could only ask Tang San and Tang Ao to ask them. Although he knew that there was resentment between the Tang family father and son in Aoshanzhen, it was not impossible to resolve it. Tang San and Tang Ao looked at each other. In fact, Tang Ao had long wanted Tang San to go back and recognize his ancestors, so that Tang San could be recognized by Aoshanzhen. However, during the Soul Master competition, his arms and legs were cut off by Chu Ye in the Pope's Hall, and he lost the 2 pieces of Aoshanzhen's inherited soul bones. How could he have the face to ask Tang San to go back? Brother Tang San, Your Majesty Tang Ao, if our Tiando Empire and Xingluo Empire are destroyed by the Wuhan Empire in the future, you will also be in danger step by step. Douluo Qian said, calling the maid beside him to come over. Then he said, if you two are willing to help Tiando persuade Aoshanzhen, the Empire is willing to give this thing to Brother Tang San. As she spoke, the maid opened it, and the red cloth cover in the thing flashed with a strong blue light. This is... Tang San's face changed. This thing was not an ordinary thing at first glance. This thing is the national treasure of the Tiando Empire. It is called the Vast Sea Universe cover. It can be regarded as a soul guide. It has many wonderful uses. Douluo Qian explained. Tang San's heart was moved. He could feel that this thing was not simple. If he could get this thing, it might be of great help to him. He looked at Tang Ao. Dad. Forget it, then use this as an excuse to let Xiao San go back to recognize his ancestors. This also gave Tang Ao a reason to let Tang San go back. He sighed in his heart and nodded to Tang San. Seeing this, Tang San immediately replied, Your Highness, Tang San is willing to give it a try. Okay, then this thing will be handed over to you. After you go back, Brother Tang San, inject your soul power into it and you will understand. Douluo Qian signaled the maid to hand the thing to Tang San. Your Highness, you will give it to me now. If I can't convince the Ocean sect. Tang San was a little surprised. It doesn't matter. Whether you succeed or not, I have decided to give it to you. Tang San and Tang Ao have always tried their best to win over and maintain their relationship. Moreover, Douluo Qian also learned that Tang San has now cultivated to the Soul Empire realm. Even if such a genius fails, it is not a loss to give it to him. It will also be a great help for his future growth. Okay, thank you, Your Highness. Tang San took the Vast Sea Universe cover. After a while, the father and son of the Tang family left the palace. On the way back, Tang Ao said, Xiao San, I'm ashamed to face the sect. You should go back alone now. Go back to recognize your ancestors and persuade the Ocean sect to leave the mountain. If it doesn't work, don't force it. Dad, this is fine. I understand. Tang San said. After a long time, Tang San returned to the room and was studying the Vast Sea Universe cover in front of him, feeling, what kind of treasure is this? He injected his soul power into it according to Douluo Qian's instructions. The next second, Tang San received a strong mental shock. There was a vast and boundless power of the vast sea, which made Tang San faint on the spot. At the same time, outside the room, a huge phantom emerged. The phantom held a trident in his hand. Alas, after so many years, I finally found someone who can withstand the power of the vast sea. Soon, the phantom disappeared without a trace. After a whole night, Tang San finally woke up. He had been recognized by the Vast Sea Universe cover. Feeling the power of this item, Tang San was extremely excited. He didn't expect this treasure to be so powerful. I didn't expect this treasure to be so powerful. The Vast Sea Bodyguard, the Universe Calming cover, the Vast Sea Raging Waves, and the Universe Breaking Demons have given me 4 skills. It's not an exaggeration to say that this item is a divine weapon. Tang San's face was full of excitement, which undoubtedly made his strength much stronger. It made Tang San's determination and confidence to surpass Chu Ye even stronger. The next day, in the early morning, Tang San immediately set off to the place where the Ocean sect had been in seclusion for many years. After many days, Tang San successfully arrived in the Ocean sect and stood in front of the current sect master, the 97th level titled Luo Tang Xiao. Without saying a word, Tang Xiao mobilized the terrifying soul pressure and pressed Tang San to the ground. Bang! Boom! What a terrifying soul pressure! Although Tang San resisted with all his strength, he still knelt on the ground with both knees, his face extremely ugly. Tang Xiao didn't go too far and quickly stopped. Get up! Chapter 250. Tang San returns to Eoshan sect, and is beaten up. Tang San did not stand up immediately. This time he came to Eoshan sect with multiple purposes. First, he took responsibility for Tang Ao's mistakes. Second, he recognized his ancestors and returned to his clan. Third, he persuaded Eoshan sect to leave the sect. But Tang San did not have enough strength to speak with his fists, so this time he came back. He had to be submissive and kowtowed 3 times in a row. The son pays for the father's debt, said Master. I'm willing to take all the responsibility for my father. I'm also willing to use this life to serve the sect and do everything I can. After some communication, Tang San successfully got the approval of Tang Xiao, who agreed that Tang San recognized his ancestors and returned to his clan. After all, they were a family. Tang Xiao and Tang Ao were also brothers and had a very good relationship, so they naturally sided with Tang San. However, Tang San's recognition of his ancestors and return to his clan also required the approval of several sect elders. The biggest obstacle was those elders. At this moment, Tang San had already arrived at the sect hall, and the 5 existing elders of Eoshan sect had also appeared in a powerful manner. They were not as easy to talk to as Tang Xiao. The 7th elder said to Tang San in a very aggressive manner, "Humph. You did inherit the talent of that evil creature Tang Ao, but what does it matter if you have good talent? If the sect produces another Tang Ao, I'm afraid it will be destroyed. Evil creature, why don't you kneel down?" Tang San's face was a little ugly, but he had to endure it. Tang San is returning to the sect this time, willing to atone for his father's sins and do his best to help the sect regain its glory. Please allow me to recognize my ancestors and return to the sect. Ridiculous. Just because of what your father did, you can't even think about returning to the sect, not to mention that you were a bastard born with his evil soul beast. The 7th elder became more and more indignant. Tang San also looked embarrassed when he heard this. He clenched his fists tightly and wanted to say, "Who do you say is a bastard?" But he finally endured it. He slowly took 2 steps forward and bowed his head to admit his fault. "I'm sorry, 7th elder, it's my father's fault. I admitted to you on his behalf, but your real enemy should be the spirit hall, not as father and son. My father is wrong and has implicated the sect. I'm willing to apologize to you. Please allow me to return to my roots," said Master, and all the elders. Tang San apologized sincerely on his face, but his heart was already extremely dark and twisted. "How dare you say that my father is an evil obstacle, that I am a bastard, and that you cursed my mother? I can't bear it. Today I am submissive, but when I become stronger and return one day, I will definitely hit you hard." Tang San already hated these elders, especially the 7th elder, but he was weak now and didn't dare to be tough. When he becomes stronger and returns again, he can be tough. Huh. You want to return to your roots? Good. Then you defeat me, the 7th elder said coldly. Tang Xiao looked displeased. 7th elder, you're already a titled Douluo, how can Tang San defeat you? Isn't that deliberately making things difficult for him? For any spirit skill, I will only use the 3rd level of power. The 7th elder sneered and continued. If you win, I will allow you to return to your roots. If you lose, you will be treated as a sinner of the Eoshan sect and imprisoned here forever. Boy, do you dare to accept it? Damn 7th elder, I have already admitted my mistakes so much, but he still makes things difficult for me. A titled Douluo, even if it is only the 3rd level of power, is still difficult for me to defeat. Tang San's face was extremely ugly. Tang San had long thought that the elders of the Eoshan sect would most likely embarrass him, or even fight him, and Tang San had made this preparation, but he never expected that even an elder was a titled Douluo. How to fight a titled Douluo? In this life, Tang San, because of the shadow of Chu Ye's terror, had long lost his self-confidence and absolute arrogance. He didn't have the courage to face the battle of the 7th elder. After all, if he lost, he would be imprisoned here forever. This was equivalent to his life being directly ruined. Such a huge price, Tang San didn't dare to accept it. Tang San was deadlocked in place for several seconds, and never responded. Not only Tang Xiao, but also some people who stood on Tang Xiao's side, shook their heads, a little disappointed. Humph. Trash, you don't even dare to fight with me, and you still want to recognize your ancestors. Get out of here. Evil obstacle. You. Tang San's anger value was already full, he clenched his fist tightly, his face was very angry. Who are you? You don't even have the courage to fight me, how dare you recognize your ancestors and return to your roots, get out of here. The 7th elder flashed and came to Tang San in an instant, waving his palm and slapping Tang San hard. Pa. Puff. Wah. Tang San spit out a mouthful of blood and was slapped hard. HMPH. The seventh elder was not satisfied, and kicked Tang San in the face again. Ah. Bang. Boom. Tang San screamed miserably, his body smashed hard on the stone wall, covered in blood, and fell to the ground seriously injured. Tang Xiao couldn't bear it anymore, and shouted, "Stop!" The seventh elder stopped and snorted coldly. "Evil seed Tang San, now, get out of the Ocean sect immediately." "That's right. Get out of the Ocean sect. Get out of the Ocean sect. Get out of the Oceanism," everyone in the sect said in unison. Alas! Tang Xiao sighed in his heart. Although he wanted to protect Tang San, if Tang San could not get the recognition of the clans, he, even the sect master, could not force him to stay. He shook his head helplessly and said to the disciples around him, "You, send Tang San out of Oceanism." Uncle, just like that, Tang San was carried out of Oceanism by several disciples and thrown into the abandoned village at the foot of the mountain. Tang San was lying on the ground covered in blood, looking at the mountain in front of him. His face was hideous, and he was very angry in his heart. "Oceanism, wait for me. I will make you pay for today's humiliation when I become stronger and return." Sea God Island, the teacher said that there is a great opportunity on Sea God Island. If I can complete the test and come back, my strength will be improved in all aspects. Now that I can't enter the Oceanism, I can only go to Sea God Island to fight. Tang San's original plan was to return to his ancestral home and persuade the Ocean sect to help the Tiando Empire, and then he would stay in the Ocean sect to practice. After all, he had heard from Tang A now that the Ocean sect also had two unique skills, the Ocean Nine Wonders and the Great Humor Hammer. But now, not only is he unable to return to his ancestral home, he even has no chance of persuading the Ocean sect to leave. Then, the only place Tang San can think of to quickly improve his strength is this Sea God Island. A Ocean sect, Tang San, will definitely come back again. Tang San stood up with difficulty, and left in a panic with resentment. After returning to Tiando City, Tang San promised Douluo Qian that when he became stronger and returned, he would go to a Ocean sect again. After that, he gathered his former partners and prepared to go to Sea God Island together. Because the Seven Treasures Glazed sect was destroyed, Nine Rongrong had already followed Nine Fengzi, Jian Luo and others to retire and disappear. Zhu King also completely severed her relationship with Daimao Bai and left alone a long time ago. There is no news about her. The so-called Shriek Seven Devils, currently only Ma Hongjin, Daimao Bai, and Oscar remaining Tiando Royal Academy. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.